in a vacuum. Use the forum, use the Facebook groups, avoid Discord, it's a scary place.
Come back! Come back! Tracy, oh my god!
Really quiet.
Alright,
So
class.
welcome everyone to the stream.
Hello.
It's gaming time.
Hello.
I'm just gonna go there.
All right. How's everybody doing today? Because I think today would have been better if we had a skills update, but
Yeah.
If chat's not working for you, don't worry. I don't think it's working for anyone. I think Twitch is just bad.
Dude, Nero's
Yeah.
just
what
vibing,
it
don't worry.
sounds like. Oh, we got a Twitch chat in the corner. Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hog moment.
All right.
Oh, wait,
so we don't have
can
a skills
comment?
update.
Wait, how are some people able to talk? Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, some people are fine. It's not.
I guess
working
it's
for
just me
other
and
people.
Sally.
I think
Probably
yeah,
just a region thing. It's probably
It's
just a region.
Twitch happening, I think. Anyway, so if we don't have the manual, where are we starting, Sally?
So we
Now we
shouted
play
out Mr.
Counter-Strike.
GDC. We don't have a skills change because that's bad. Just straight to xRC, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's all we can really talk about until we actually get something.
Yeah, so let's go on first to how we think skills could be improved based on what we've seen in xRC.
Negative points.
Negative
Oh,
points.
Also, let's start. What is xRC, guys?
Big fan of negative points.
Okay, so for the people that don't know, xRC is a simulator made by an avid FTC competitor that he's been recreating all the FRC, FTC, and starting on Vex games in this simulation he's made. And it's becoming to have its own like presence in the scene right now. So I think everyone who's a little bit craving of figuring out like change up like strategy should try it out. I wouldn't base your like robot design on xRC because it's predefined robots, but if you want to test out strategy, I would go on it. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, obviously the biggest problem with xRC is the robots have no flaws. It's just like boom, boom, straight. Here's what happens. But
Yeah.
it is still good for getting an idea of what route you want to do.
Well,
Like-
I'll say, you said the robot has no flaws. I feel like we should play the Archer video now.
Yeah.
Okay, the physics are pretty bad when it comes
Yeah.
to the Vex
Just a-
version. I mean, they're meant for FRC robots. I mean, it's cool, but it's not realistic physics at all.
Play the Archer video.
I gotcha. So,
So as you can see, under current skill stuff, you have a Clawbot maxing out skills in the xRC simulator while messing up countless times.
To be fair, the big brain idea of pushing the ball in the bottom, I don't
Yeah.
even. That's not legal, is it?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
I thought
there's
you
no
could only
rules-
D-score from the bottom.
There's no rules against.
it's just that you can't score out of the top.
There's
Oh,
no
you're
rules
right,
against
you're
scoring
right.
from the bottom.
Yeah, so I think one of the two ways they can make skills harder is put some of the red balls or put some of the blue balls, like more of them in the towers. Ha ha.
it's
Funny.
not funny, guys.
Yeah, but make it so you have to D-score more or D-score
Oh.
anything, because right now
Yeah,
you only have to
there's no-
D-score 3.
Yeah, there's no
Problem-
descoring aspect in the skills currently.
Yeah.
The problem is that it's not going to take much longer for your good snail bots.
Yeah, which is why I'm building Snailbot, because easy. But like,
Oh,
Yeah.
Alright,
Oh.
but think about programming skills when you have randomly descored balls all over the field.
yeah, that's another thing. I think programming skills in this game is kind of just going to suck no matter what they change.
I'm not sure that's totally true. I think it's
Not if they change the game.
I don't think
Yeah, that's-
descoring. I don't think descoring balls will affect programming a lot because you have robots in like Turning Point with flywheels where they shot and the balls came back to around where they are and they just had to account for it. Just
there
like,
aren't a whole lot of like descoring balls. Like you're gonna
Ball.
knock out. Well, no, I'm wrong. I don't know where I was going with that.
You love to see it.
So again, anyone, I would recommend trying out the xRC simulator. I think Capri can pull up the link right now to it. They're running occasionally running tournaments if you want to get like a competitive sense on XRC. They will have the server. We'll have a QR code to the server pulled up later on the stream, or when Capri wants to.
Yeah, the address to get there is very simple. Just go to xrcsimulator.org, follow the download instructions, and it'll just get it set up. Alright.
Here, I'm putting a link in chat.
Something G Cobes said, my assumption is that they will just put all the balls on the field. You have to score all the balls regardless of color. I honestly think that would be way easier than just making you have to descore, because if it's just a scoring game, then it takes away the problem of descoring, which is really the only hard aspect of this game in the first place.
Yeah. If you just have to score, it just ends up being a cycle thing, and that's just make a fast robot ball.
Zach, what do you think of this?
Oh, hey, Zach.
So do you guys think there's any way they can change skills to make it balanced?
Make you have to descore more, I think.
Just descoring.
30 seconds.
You really think that's
Or
going to
just
take
30
another 30
seconds.
seconds?
Or just
Yeah,
30 seconds.
I like 30 seconds. I like 30 seconds.
30 seconds would be far more challenging, but just like a lazy option. But
I think it'd
I think it'd be way more
yeah,
challenging.
I would
yeah.
like 30 seconds.
it would
That'd make
be a
interesting.
real challenge actually.
Yeah.
Do you think they would make it so you'd have more attempts at competitions?
No.
No.
So
Uh,
skills would just be
30
shorter?
second skills being
Yeah.
said, let's show the Brandon video of the
Okay.
xRC actually doing a 30-second skills run, which is crazy impressive. I don't know how he did
Capri.
this.
Yes.
No time.
Capri.
Yes.
Capri.
Brandon video.
Oh, Brandon video. Okay, yeah. Oh, didn't he get it in 30 seconds?
Yes.
28.
28.
Capri,
yeah,
are
even
you
better.
listening to what we're saying?
No.
Not that one. Not that one, Capri. That's the wrong one.
You got it. You're getting
Back
in there.
33, isn't it?
You got it. You got
There
it.
you
There
go.
we are.
There you go.
There we are.
So this is Brandon 60172S.
The
Yes.
screw strippers.
Yes.
The screw stripper.
On the xRC simulator, again, keep in mind it's not exactly real life, but he got a perfect score of a snail bot in under 30 seconds.
Look at that. It's a clean run for sure, but it's definitely not undoable in real life, which is kind
It's
of
not.
sad.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I really like him doing here is scoring in the top and the bottom at the same
Same.
time.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's definitely going to be used in real life as well.
Okay,
Just to-
I think if someone does that in real life, they deserve the max score.
well, it's not.
Yeah, like
It's not the
That's
hardest
like
to
a
do.
macro.
yeah, no, it's not
That's
that
a
hard.
simple
You just keep
macro,
a
yeah.
ball- You just keep a ball in your intakes and then spit it out. Or even just don't even spit it out, just push it in, and then boom, you
Yeah.
already have one ball in, and you only have to cycle two more.
Yeah.
Okay, change up broken.
And
Yeah.
then, if we're talking about, since this whole stream was supposed to be centered around skills, what do you guys think? Because right now we've only really seen two types of robots: a conveyor type, whatever you do with the top conveyor is your thing, and then a lift type. What is your opinion on which type of robot will be better for skills?
Wallbot.
Okay,
Thank
I think
you, Ben.
skills.
Thank you,
61.
Kyle. Thank you, Kyle.
For skills, honestly, I think depending on how they change it, I'd say right now conveyor's better, just like in general, because of just how fast you can cycle the balls out, how you can descore fast, how you can score fast. But if they change it so that you have 30 seconds, I think lifts, the time you spent, even if it's a really small amount of time, the time you spend lifting your lift up, they're just going to be completely irrelevant if they make it so that you have left time and skill.
So what I think about it is if they change it to where you have the D-score everything, I think lift would be better for programming and driver, depending on what you do. Because with the snail bot, you kind of have to throw the balls out afterwards, which could create inconsistencies with programming routes. But I feel like if you are just able to knock them out of the tower and not, have to worry about ejecting them before you can intake other balls, that might make it better.
Yeah, I overall, I think conveyors are like 100% going to be better for in-match play. I don't think there's really any doubt in that for most people. But when it comes down to skills, conveyor, well, okay, conveyor versus flywheel. I think everyone here can agree that flywheel's just bad, and that the
It's
only thing you
bad.
really gain, the only thing you gain is that you can shoot from farther distances, but the only time you're gonna need to do that is when you're defending one goal and shooting into another, but it's also really inconsistent because you're not flywheeling turning point balls. You're flywheeling balls that are bigger than the cubes from last year. So like
They're big
it's
balls.
just they're
balls.
big.
All right, let's,
I
let's talk
personally-
about anti-anime turrets for a second here.
Anti-anime turrets.
Turrets are kind of sick. I mess with
One-
turrets. However, I
185?
think it's terrible.
Okay, wait. What do you mean like turrets
Okay,
for
wait.
what?
Bro, I heck with those hard.
Okay, but like in terms of flywheel, I think that the actual only because shooting like from far of the field isn't a benefit. It's not getting in the goal. I personally
Yeah.
think the only benefit is being able to run up to a goal, shoot, and then D-score.
Yeah,
So
I
just
agree.
that
D-score
inclu-
after you've shot.
Yes, I think that would personally be kind of hype, but at the same time, I don't think it's necessarily worth it.
I don't think
because
it's worth the inconsistencies.
you get inconsistency and you don't get a really good angle on your score because you
Yeah.
ideally want to be scoring straight down into the goal.
Just putting this out there, if someone can compete competitively at the state level with a flywheel that can shoot full field and have a consistency of over 50%, I will eat a V5 motor.
You know,
I'll
yeah,
PayPal you $10. I'll PayPal you $10.
Oh, okay.
Eat that V5 motor, okay.
One interesting aspect that saw is like I'm not sure if they're they did like bullet autons in the zone where you're basically sacrificing your ability to score to like ruin the other opponent's auton. I think this year it becomes more crucial, especially with that one point where I think you're going to see some like if someone gets like in a hypothetical situation like Ben said where they can shoot across the full field. I'm interested to see if people will literally throw their auton to just prevent people from getting that auton win point by breaking their
No.
home row.
That's a
But-
DQ.
Yeah, that's
a
a
DQ.
DQ.
That's a
Ball
DQ?
monkey noises.
Yeah, ball
monkey noise. Imagine
You
how reading
intentionally-
the manual.
Yeah, if you intentionally send the ball over
You
to the
can't
opponent's
make
side,
you
it's
can make
just
you,
ooga booga.
you can make a scoring object do something your robot can't.
Yeah.
Trash.
Monkey noises. I personally think that Autom will probably have the most intense defense in the game. That's just me. Just
Okay.
because you
For
have
no
one
view
robot.
anyways.
Not even for high school. You have one robot scoring home row and then one robot playing defense on middle tower.
Yeah, no leaks. That's what I'm doing with my indexer. Like later down the line, I'm gonna have the last 5 seconds or so of my bot. I'm just gonna have it cycle through balls in the middle tower and have a color sensor set up. So when I see a ball that isn't mine, it just spits it out the back.
Bruh.
Like I think that's a really easy way to gain
Trapdoor?
middle tower control
If
early
you
on.
can automate that, that'll be really.
Fog movement. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
What's
Like
that color?
that's the best part of the indexer. It's not like a trapdoor. You can instantly make changes. And since I have it ratcheted up, no matter what direction you're going, the drum wheel, like the main drum that does all the work, is still sending balls out. So if I'm at a tower where there's 2 blue balls and 1 red ball, and I'm blue, I can just keep cycling through. And then as soon as the color sensor sees ooh red, ooga booga, it just spits it out the back, and it'll just keep cycling through the 2 red.
Speaking of which,
Why is
I
that
guess
the
it's time. I guess it's time to move to robots then.
All right, yeah.
Since Noah has gone on about his robot at the beginning, I think we can start with him.
Okay,
Capri, can
so-
you pull up pictures?
Mr. Capri.
Cap.
You got it,
I
Capri.
was never
Do
given
you mean
pictures.
Jimmy from 3132?
Yes, Jimmy from
I was Noah,
3132.
Noah, I was never given pictures.
It's
Capri,
in
that's not
chat.
true.
Oh my
Capri.
god. Oh
Bro.
my god. Capri.
Okay.
Okay,
While
In
he's doing
general.
Just
No, wait,
talk
while
about
he's-
it. Just talk about it.
Okay,
It's in
yeah. While you're
general.
doing that, I'll just talk. You do need to bring him up though, Capri, or you're a disappointment.
Someone find it. Is it?
I'll send him all the pictures.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in general. So what I did with my bot, I went for like snail bot, except I'm not going for the YY approach, where it's literally snail bot and that the cycles are really slow. No offense, YY, but your bot's kind of bad. I did like I went for a turning point style flywheel minus the speed of the actual flywheel, so the cycle time to get the balls up to the main drum is really quick, but then the drum's at like 400-ish RPM, and that'll spit the balls out without too much backspin. So when the hood's at the right angle, it just perfectly lands at any angle. I'm not gonna have like a hood indexer like turning point because I think that's just kind of unnecessary. But I am gonna keep it so that I don't know. It'll end up just coming down to tweaking whether or not I want to have it shoot from farther away and then lose some consistency middle tower close up. But I think in the end, I'm just gonna make it maybe like a foot away from the goal. It's consistent, and then up closer, it's just like, yeah, okay, we got it. The middle tower, I know, is something a lot of people are worrying about shooting into because there's no back bracing. But unless you're going like super long heights, or super long lengths, there's no real reason to be worried about it because you just shoot and then it goes in because it's curved inward. So as the ball touches the lip, it's basically in.
For people that haven't noticed, we have the pictures pulled up. Noah's robot is, like he said, a YY robot, but he has an indexer on the top that's ratcheted to where it can both spit out balls on there and act as an indexer on the top.
Yeah, so that's what I'm most happy with on this robot in particular is the indexer. The indexer itself is 600 RPM, so it goes zoom, 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 speed. It can spit out balls really quickly. I would have gotten a video, but I don't think Capri would know how to work that. And it also speeds up cycle times. It also speeds up cycle times because instead of solely being like Lexan on Lexan or like rubber bands on Lexan, it's rubber band on rubber band, which spits the ball out super fast and gives it momentum going up to the top roller. So that just makes it like that puts even less work on the actual drum, which is what allows me to ratchet it to the indexer. So some people are doing like one motor just for their drum, and I think that's really stupid because you don't need balls to be going that fast. Like there's no reason.
So, just to describe this further, is this the motor can go either direction and spin that rear drum either direction, but the front drum always spins forward?
Yeah, the main drum will always be spinning forward because I got the double ratchet, and I'm
It
sure
never
if
needs to
Terrence
spin
sees
backward.
I think if Terrence sees this, he's gonna copyright my robot. But
Wait,
What-
did you copy
Noah.
Taryn?
no, I
No.
think Terran copied me.
Noah,
Whoa.
tomorrow we see a new upload from Taryn. Better ratchet tutorial.
Ratchet tutorial 2.0. No, but yeah, I got the double ratchet idea from some messing around with some of the easier boys early on this season. They were talking about ratchets to the drum wheel, and so that's kind of hype. That's one of my favorite parts about the bot, like just the indexer drum in general. But by far my least favorite is the Omni intakes at the front,
Yeah,
and that's just because I've been
kinda
too
suck.
lazy to mess with them. I made those like day 3 after Changeup came out, and then I just stuck them on every different iteration of my bot.
Bro.
And
The chain is kind of hot though.
dude, okay, yeah, that chain do be kind of spicy.
Yeah,
red
but
and
the wheels
blue.
kind of suck. The wheels kind of suck.
Yeah, Omni wheels are terrible intakes, can confirm. Like if you're chasing a ball and you try to grip it, they just go loop and the ball spits out. It's kind of bad. My biggest thing though, I just haven't been worrying about them because I know that once I have everything else perfected, I can just kind of zoom in and vibe. And then like the main intakes are not the easiest to do, but the easiest to tweak because they don't affect anything else in the system. Like they're just what gets the ball going.
Okay. What are your expectations of this robot right now?
I think I could max out skills with the bot the way it is right now. I have a field in my basement. I just haven't set it up because it takes forever to set up goals. They're stupid and
It
terrible.
took me 9 hours.
Yeah, those goals
Hey,
suck.
hey, clean stream, clean
Oh,
stream.
Yeah, those goals freaking suck.
I'm gonna have to edit all this tonight.
It took me not 9 hecking hours.
There we go.
Hello, I'm Zach929U, and today I'm going to be talking about the macros I used on my Changeup robot. So what I have going right now is I have a color sensor ready. I just haven't hooked it up yet because I don't want it to be in the way. But basically, it's going to look at the ball that's in between. So you see how, Capri, you see how the top roller, like the one that's connected to the bottom, like the roller right in the middle of the bot, the one that the motor's directly connected to, not the indexer? No, but like, wait, stop your mouse.
Or side motor.
Stop your mouse, stop your mouse. Hello, sir? Free, do you have auto? Okay. Yeah, that motor right there. That motor right there. I'm going to have a color sensor right next to that, to the left, and it'll sense what color that ball is. And I'm going to turn it off after Auton, but during Auton, anytime my robot just like picks up any different color ball, it's going to be like, okay, that's red. I can spit it forward to the drum, or okay, that's blue. And then it'll instantly just shove it out the indexer. And that's kind of hype because I think it's not going to be as big in programming, like programming skills, because if something goes that wrong where there's a different colored ball in my bot, it's kind of bad. But like in programming match, if I can just sit there and chill at the end of a match and just cycle through all the balls in middle tower or like left middle tower or something like that, that's going to give me a huge advantage starting off. Because if I can get 2 of my own balls in there and cycle the other teams out, then I'll instantly start off with 2 balls in middle tower, which is big boy.
It's kind of hype.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I believe you mentioned YY's reveal. YY's robots kind of suck. Let's hear a word from YY.
This is
Hello.
a clean stream, by the way.
Clean stream.
Why am I 1727B? This is troll.
You could change your nickname.
I
I
can't.
think we should leave it.
Okay,
It's
so
broken on the stream.
Yeah, this stream's broken.
What is happening on stream?
it's fine. Anyhow,
It's good. It's good.
so why you released a reveal recently?
Correct.
Capri, can we get the reveal up while YY talks about the robot?
No.
Do we want to play it muted?
Muted,
Yes.
yeah.
Play the appropriate one.
No, because we need to hear us talking.
No, I can
There
play
we
with audio.
Can we just watch?
No,
the
we're
video?
talking.
Yeah, I
We're
think we should. I
talking.
think we
We're
should just.
talking.
No,
Capri, just
no, I
mute
think
Free,
we should
free.
just watch the reveal.
Just mute it. Just mute it.
Bro, Zach929 is gonna smite you. He's in the call right now.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to talk about?
Robot.
Watch the reveal. I don't know.
Why did you decide to go with this type of robot?
So being able to just cycle balls through your robot without having to move your lift up and down, you're going to be a lot more stable, and then also it's a lot easier to hold more.
This is a good time to plug Uncharted's Lexan service.
We're gonna do that for
DM
resources.
DM Xander with all your Lexan needs, and then he will give you nice, pretty polycarb like I have.
Ooh.
YY, may I ask you why your cycle times are kind of lacking?
Compared to
Like just like rubber bands, like Grant Spot, cycle time do be kind of zooming. Is it just because you made the conveyor that way? Do you have plans to make it faster?
I think it's fine. So with Grant's robot, he's shooting over goals, whereas mine is just kind of pushing them into
Just like dropping
goals.
them
Does that
off
make
in there?
sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're shooting into goals, you run into the problem of obviously you're not touching the ball when it's in the air, and
Yeah.
then also you run the risk of missing, obviously.
Missing do be kind of bad though.
It's kind of bad.
Don't miss.
What do you think about? We were talking about this earlier. What do you think about Omni intakes? YY.
There's no point. Just use
Alright.
tread.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Fair enough. Oh,
Did you see
well,
that? Did you see that one lot on eBay that had 2 tracking wheels in it?
What?
There was a lot on eBay that people were bidding for that had 2 tracking wheels in it.
Oh, the old 2.75 Omnis?
Yes, sir.
What did it go for?
I think it went for like 30.
Bruh.
I sold mine for less than that.
Vex would make a killing if they started making those again.
They're not even that good though.
I mean, they're
You have to
just
do
thin.
some-
That's
You
it.
have to do a lot of work on them to make them
You
decent.
have to file them so they roll properly.
Yeah, they're
It's not
bad. They're
about
just thin.
being
That's their
good,
best.
It's about people want them.
Yeah.
That's how you make money. All right. Anyway, this robot. Is there anything else you'd like to say about it?
DM Xander if you want pretty polycarb.
Thank
That's
you,
my
YY.
Thank you, YY.
The
Have a good
polycarb
day.
do be pretty though.
Okay. Speaking, I believe they mentioned Grant before, but we do in fact have Grant ready to talk about his robot. So, hello, Grant.
Ooh, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay,
All right.
so
What's your
Grant, you released a reveal recently, did you not?
I released a reveal video 2 weeks ago, so no, not that recently.
Bruh moment.
No, you premiered a video. You didn't release it.
That's not even my video, dude. Well, it is. but
Oh
that's
my
an old one. I think it's clean too.
Here we go. This is the one.
We'll
Full
keep
screen
it
it?
muted just to stay safe.
Full screen it? Maybe.
Full screen.
Maybe.
Play this while we're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can go to the pictures afterwards. Yes.
So Grant, what 3D printed parts? Because there's a lot on your bot. What had mattered the most? Like, what changed things up?
I don't know. A lot of the 3D printed parts were just trying to test some initial concepts. Normally for me now, I've done Vex for 7 years, and 4 of them have been in VexU, so I just sort of default to it now. A lot of parts I can think about, and I'm just like, well, this would be, I could make this out of, polycarb or something, but it'd be really easy for me to just print it. So I think the biggest ones are the rollers. I 3D printed a few different versions of those. I think those are version 4 or 5 at that point. Different sizes, different thicknesses, different amounts of rubber bands, just to see what really worked. So I would say those are probably the neatest thing. I also tried a really weird gearbox you can see on the back where they're like interlaced in between each other. The motors like fit between each other to see if I could make the robot any thinner. So if they weren't like that, they'd actually touch each other. And then the intakes were each 13-hour prints that failed twice. So that was cool. It wasn't even my fault. My power went out. And both in hour 11 and 13.
Grant,
it was fantastic.
Since you are a relatively experienced VexU team, could you give some I see a lot of newer VexU teams coming up. Could you give them some tips on when you should complicate something and when you shouldn't?
Well, I mean, if you just look at that robot, I think it's pretty simple. I try to make everything simple. I personally don't like differentials. I don't like the clutches. I don't like. I don't get it. In VexU, why would you do that? You can just slap another motor on there.
I know, right?
Everything on there has its own motor. It's all individual.
Yeah.
The biggest
RPM
thing
do you run
is
the spinners at?
the spinners at 600, but it's really just because I'm too lazy to reprogram it to 500.
Bruh.
I don't know. I don't program, so I get someone else to do that. So I don't really know how to do it.
Capri, while Grant finishes up a tiny bit, can we get the photos link up so people can look at all angles of the robot?
It's in the Twitch chat already.
Yeah, I put it in the Twitch chat.
Okay.
Hey, Capri, is the Twitch chat add-on dead?
It's dead for some people. We don't know what's happening. It's Twitch's fault, not ours.
Yeah, it's
the add-on, the one on stream.
Yeah, it's not working in stream.
Oh, come on. No, I'm blaming this on Twitch, okay?
Okay.
Sure.
No one can see chat. You hate to see it.
It worked for a little bit. We'll figure all this out, guys.
Yeah, it was something.
But yeah.
That's a lot of different angles of the bot.
When this all gets uploaded to YouTube, this link will be in the description.
Mm-hmm.
So check it out. Grant has a lot of great pictures, and it's a really nice looking robot. So thank you so much.
Really is.
And
yeah, the one thing I want to stress is this was completely just a prototype. I don't imagine it'll ever be used competitively. It was really to test the differences of a lot of VexU teams use those rollers last year for their intakes. I wanted to see if they were still viable because I just spent $100 on roller wheels.
Yeah.
And then the season got canceled.
You just hate to see it.
So then now I'm trying to figure out more ways to use them. The biggest problem you can see in the video with the robot is the rollers they're on a hinge, so they sort of pop out when it gets to the second wheel. The real easy way to fix that would be to just cut the wheel just like the ones in the front where they just cut out those little sections. I just don't want to do that until I can get to my lab in Knoxville and get my other wheels back that have already been cut.
Yeah.
But
fair enough.
Other than that, it works pretty well. I really would think taking down the RPM on the shooting wheel would make it a lot more accurate. And then in the video, there's no video of me doing anything with the middle goal. But like I said, if you drop the RPM down or just back up about, 6 inches, it shoots dead into the hole every time.
Yeah, that's what I did with mine. I just turned the RPM down to 400, 300, and it worked a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in this game, you got 8 backboards. Why wouldn't you use them?
Well,
backboard.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should be I don't think you should be relying on the backboards. Although, I'm fine with you saying using them, just because I see a lot of teams pulling up with 1,000 RPM flywheels.
Yeah, they're going to be completely relying on them, and then being like, "Hold up, why do I have to be halfway across the field to hit the middle goal?"
Yeah, it is a lot about the RPM you're running, and then the exit you actually have out of the intake.
Yeah.
for the shooter. So that one I originally put a 200 on it, and the ball just fell out. But I didn't change anything other than changing the motor speed, and it now easily clears the robot
Yeah.
with almost the same acceleration, because V5 motor is actually kind of nice.
Ooh.
V5 motor's good except for when they break.
I've never done that.
Grant, important question. Do you plan on putting quick swap motors on this robot?
On that one, well, no, I just told you 2 seconds ago that I'm not going to use that competitively.
Grant, do you think quick swap motors are worth anything?
Oh yeah, I mean, if your motors overheat, but when you have 60 of them, it's not a problem.
Have you ever considered that you're wrong?
I mean, not really. I had 2 quick swap motors in Turning Point, both on intake and uptake, and on both of those they were held on with rubber bands instead of zip tie, and it actually tears up that little white nylon gear on the inside. So don't do that.
I'm gonna quote Mr. Hannibal28 from the Twitch chat here and say, "Noah, shut up."
He actually said,
Actually
"Shut up, Noah."
Shut up, Noah.
No.
Yeah.
No. That was not my finest move. I apologize. All right.
And the boys
Anything
be
else
wrong.
you'd like to share with us about your robot, Grant?
You should paint everything. It looks way better.
Yeah, that's true.
It does look cool.
C channels kind of look hot.
I
Are
never
you
painted
sticking
anything
with the
before.
green color scheme this season?
I mean, that's our team colors, so yeah.
You love to see it. Okay, wait.
Unless I
have a
can't
sticker?
find green.
Can I have a sticker?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grant, send me my stickers.
I can send stickers.
I was supposed to
I just-
compliment Worlds, but then
Telly,
that
if you
didn't
want
happen.
stickers, you have to give me the address.
Literally look 3 messages up.
That's too hard.
All right.
Oh,
I think
you
that's
might.
enough for this
Okay.
conversation.
Okay, thank you. Do we want to go into Kyle?
I think we
Is
do.
Kyle ready?
Are we ready for Kyle? That's a better question.
That's
Is
a better
Kyle
question.
ready?
I think we are ready for Kyle.
But it does not seem like. Oh, maybe he is.
Kyle's ready for
Yep.
us.
He's ready? Yeah, alright.
Okay, so
Kyle.
Kyle.
Capri, can you pull up Kyle's reveal? So, Mr. Kyle here, the differential fanatic and Wallman, thinks that Wallbot might be the way to go for this game
Until they change the rules
until they change the rules.
in
So,
about 2 days.
we're going to have Kyle talk about his current thought process on the Wallbot. We have the video pulled up, and after that we can have, because seems like this is an unpopular opinion with walls, we can have a little Q&A session with chat on people who think that walls are bad.
Bro, you
So,
can have
Kyle.
a discussion with me.
Kyle, you can go and talk about your wall now.
Okay. So main thing is, wall in the video, there's no effort made at all to make it strong. The Vex form did not get that, even though I tried to do a disclaimer like
Capri,
4
right
times.
click and put it on loop.
Yeah. The main point of this is kind of the strategy of the wall. So you would finish your home row, go in between, you would deploy the wall in between your home row and the middle row, preferably an auton. And then you would just throw the opponent's balls over the walls. And because of how the possession rules are written, balls aren't counted as possessed if the opponent isn't near them. If they aren't in the, it don't count as possessed if the balls are either the opponent or if they aren't in the perimeter. So basically, all the balls that you throw over with the current rules aren't possessed. So you can hoard all of the opponent's balls.
Wait, I thought it was
Have it be
if you were
legal.
keeping the opponent from getting to them, then it counted as possessed.
That's what they said the spirit of the rule is, which is why they're probably going to change it. But as the current rules are written, it's completely legal to do this.
Yeah.
So you're saying, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying deploy wall and then just throw opponent balls over the wall, and then you just have free reign to do whatever you want.
Pretty much, yeah.
Uh,
What What do you guys think of the wallbot strategy where you wall the opposing corners and just defend the middle goal?
I think you're gonna make a lot of people angry.
I think it's gonna take a lot of walls.
It's going to take a lot of wall, a lot of effort, and
Yeah.
not messing up.
Yeah. Also, it's just kind of gay.
Damn it, Noah.
No,
Which is not a problem. Which is, Vex forums.
Oy vey.
Nice,
thing
I'm
is
getting
to
DMs
survive.
now.
Oh, you're
Oh.
getting DMs? Dude,
Should we show some transmission
Bastard.
stuff or some?
I think we
differential
should.
Kyle,
hey,
differential.
Kyle, yeah, Kyle,
stuff? Do you have
can,
pictures ready, Kyle?
Differential?
Do you have
could
pictures?
you,
Right?
Kyle,
Kyle
could you do me a
differential. Yeah, I
favor
just
and send me
closed that one.
the super differential you made? You
The
can?
super different, the full drive.
Isn't it in VexCAD?
Send it.
Wait, yeah, Kyle, why have
yeah.
you been popping off in VexCAD so much? What's been up with that?
He very much likes differentials. Capri, you can
I
put a
mean, I
slide
haven't
up.
sent stuff in a while. No, I just was catting for fun for a bit.
Do we have the
Whoa,
images up?
well, I
The
don't have
link.
the images.
No, we don't.
Here, I
will.
sent the
Alright,
swerve.
oh yes, the differential swerve.
So,
Do a photo.
I've seen this picture many
Look what
times.
Jack,
Kyle,
look what
can
Zach just said.
Okay. So Kyle, you want to explain the differential swerve?
Okay, so this is very unviable, but it is a differential swerve in which you were. There's two pods per side, and they do the same exact thing. So they run at the same speed, and they turn at the same angle, and they have omnis on them, so would be able to skid steer, which is turn and drive at the same time without having a bunch of wheel scrub. And then the way the differential works is just so there's two motors, right, per side. One of them is on the top sun gear, the differential in the middle right there. And then one of them is on a bottom sun gear. So if both motors go in the same direction, the carrier, the sun both go at the same speed, which causes the pod just turn. If they go in opposite directions, then just the wheel spins. If one of them goes, then at half RPM, it's shared, and then if the other one goes, is half RPM shared, but in opposite directions.
I semi got what you were saying. So it's just the different directions that the motor go can essentially either swerve it or move it forward.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so way the intention of this is so when you aren't turning your wheels, you have full power from all four motors.
Yes. So when you're not turning the wheels, you can just go full power with all four motors. Like it's a direct drive, just with a lot, not 100% power because a lot of gears. But if you want to turn, you can turn with all four of the motors, and you can do both of them. You can do both about the same time, just with decreased power.
Yeah. So, the way shared power differential work, if you split power evenly, you're going to be at 50% power total because that's when you're only running one motor, and then if you're running one mechanism, you get full power, and then there's scale in between there of how much power you share, and the closer you all are sharing it completely, the less power you're going to have.
Makes sense.
But yeah, let's say you're sharing only like 10% power turning, which is what would be ideal. You wouldn't be losing that much power.
I think as much as the differential swerve is cool, like you said, it's not really practical in VRC. So can you talk about do you think that differentials as a whole are practical?
I think they can be. Definitely not the swerve. But they're,
maybe like a differential 2-speed drive or from speed to torque?
So differential is not necessarily just a 2-speed drive. It's an infinitely variable transmission is what you make. But there are 2 speeds in which you can have full power. That's why I just say it's a 2-speed drive. And that only has one set of gears, one set of like epicyclic gearing, which is just like a planetary, our class of planetary gears that you can make from Vex parts. We don't have ring gears.
Yeah.
So you only need one of those to create an infinitely variable transmission on your drive, which allows you to have a lot more optimal torque.
That makes sense, yeah.
It also allows you to have like a pushing mode and a braking mode with theoretically infinite torque.
Infinite torque.
Does anyone have any questions or any concerns about it? Or any comments?
I mean, I said this earlier in the chat. I think the biggest problem with differentials doesn't necessarily come in how people make them. It comes in people just focus so heavily on them and then forget about the rest of their bot and then just like, okay, look, I can do cool things with differentials, but my bot's bad.
Yeah.
Like, not you, Kyle. Kyle, your bot's kind of sauce, but like some people just focus so hard on differentials and then they just make bad bots.
Easy for me. I just don't make the rest of the bot.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of just see the differential as the main part of the robot and just forget that the game exists.
Yeah.
And they're like,
wait, what's the game?
99% of people, this is not recommended to spend any time on something that's not going to score you many points.
this is for someone who probably has a robot made already. Realizes,
Wait, change up skills update. Change up skills update. Change up skills update.
The skills update is live.
Monkey noises.
Okay, wait, watch it live on stream. Watch it live on stream.
Wait, it's a video. There's a video.
Capri, watch it live on stream.
Where's the video?
Click it!
Monkeys freak out, monkeys freak out.
Unmute it.
It's not configured in your
We can't hear it, Capri.
Why can't we hear
Ah,
it?
yes, the timer. Oh wait, no, it's not.
Subtitles.
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 coming. Yeah,
Where's the audio?
it's coming through. I forgot.
Wait, can you just tell us what he said?
Increase volume.
Yeah.
Okay,
Negative.
all of us need to shut up.
This might be familiar to you.
All
I'm
votes
supported by a
valid to do this.
phenomenal cross-functional committee of teachers,
No audio.
engineers, software developers,
No audio.
competition
Go watch
alumni.
by yourself.
It's all
I'm
over.
gonna read the opinion.
We come from a variety of different backgrounds, and we all share one thing in common: a passion for the sport of competitive robotics. Pretty much everyone on the committee is either
This is a
play
long-
it.
The GDC right now.
Capri, play
Pull it up
it.
on Vex Robotics. This is way too long.
It's not.
It's not.
either a current or former competitor in VRC, VIQC, FRC, FTC, BEST, combat robotics, you name it. And several of us have even stood in the same place that I'm standing right now, the driver station, the alliance station of a VRC field. When this group of passionate individuals stepped back and looked at the Robot Skills Challenge for VRC Changeup, we realized that we had totally missed the mark. Even if this wasn't a year where Robot Skills Challenge was going to have an even bigger impact than ever before, we just knew that it didn't deliver the excitement and the competitive level that we and the teams have grown to know and love and expect, frankly. So please accept our gratitude for your patience and understanding as we prepared this update. I do want to give one more disclaimer before diving into the update. Each year, for as long as I can remember, every VRC or VIQC game develops at least one sticking point or element of frustration in the community. In the Zone had cage bots, VIQC Squared Away had RSC5, even Tower Takeover had cubes crossing the Auton line. And each year, as the GDC engages with the community on these subjects via official channels like the Q&A or feedback from your regional support managers at the REC Foundation, or even in-person conversations, a lot of us head ref local events. Each year we have to determine whether a given frustration is truly a broken game or if it's just part of the challenge. We have to determine if we'll be reactive or just hold the course. In the case of VRC Changeup and the Robot Skills Challenge, the GDC unanimously felt that the game as it was released did not meet our expectations or goals for the season. We knew that something needed to be changed before the season got underway. To be clear though, after a month of tireless effort, I am proud to say that the changes being presented today do represent the official and final Robot Skills Challenge rules for VRC Changeup, minus, of course, any tweaks or Q&As or scheduled game manual updates. That is to say, if someone achieves a max score again, don't expect the game to change again. Everything I'm about to say refers to both the driver and programming components of the Robot Skills Challenge. They are two halves of the same game. This update consists of four main components: a change to the layout and the way that scoring is calculated, the introduction of skills stop time as a tiebreaker component, the introduction of a new way to control the Robot Skills Challenge field, and a tweak to the global skills rankings to incorporate skills stop time. I'm going to briefly touch on all 4 points, although this video is going to mainly focus on skills stop time. First, the layout and gameplay. As you can see, the Robot Skills Challenge now essentially represents a match where you are playing as the Red Alliance. The Blue Alliance has dominated the first half of the match, and you are basically spending your 60 seconds trying to overcome that deficit as much as possible. You don't just get points by scoring for the Red Alliance, you also get points for de-scoring the Blue Alliance. So for example, if I drop this red ball into this corner goal, not only do you get the 1 point for scoring the red ball like you normally would, you also do receive 18 points for unconnecting 3 of Blue's connected rows. We expect this new layout to increase the importance of driver precision, pre-match strategy, and of course increase the time that it'll take you to achieve a maxed run. Don't worry though, just like in the head-to-head matches, scorekeeper referees only need to fill out the state of all goals at the end of the match, and the scoring software will do all the math for you. But if you're interested, more details can be found in the skills appendix. Second, skills stop time. Although this new gameplay will add some dynamics to the 1-minute match, I'm sure some of you have already figured out that this field still is maxable. So I'm excited to introduce the concept of skills stop time. Drive team members now have the option to end a skills match early whenever they so choose and record their time for use as a tiebreaker. The skills appendix covers all of the nuances and caveats of doing this, but essentially the process is pretty straightforward. Before your match, notify your scorekeeper referee that you think this run may involve a skills stop time. Now, of course, this isn't a binding commitment. You can still change your mind during the run and go the full 60 seconds. But this serves as a good heads up to all field staff. If the field is manually controlled by a scorekeeper referee or tournament manager operator, then a verbal and visual signal should be used. It could be as simple as, if I'm driving, all right, stop time is coming up as soon as I back away from this goal. All right, stop in 3, 2, 1, controllers down. At this moment, the field operator should either click end early in Tournament Manager or flip the competition switch to disable. The match will then be scored as if it were a normal disable at the end of a match, including all normal rules like G18, which states that scores will be calculated as soon as all robots and game objects come to rest. This communication is key for both teams and referees to minimize the risk of any confusion or disputes. As a team, I'm sure you want to make sure that you get the highest score possible, get that last second ball placed, or that your time doesn't tick any higher than it needs to. So it's as much on you as it is on the ref to make sure that this moment goes as planned. As a volunteer scorekeeper referee, I'm sure that you want to make sure that all teams at your skills field have a positive experience. And if they're about to set a new record high score, you can be proud to say that you were a part of making that happen. The third part of this update is the way to further reduce any risk of confusion during a skills stop time run, using a V5 robot brain to start and stop a skills match. This is something that many people at VEX have been working on for quite some time, and we've been hoping to release it alongside a future game. Once the GDC decided that skills stop time was the correct way to go with Changeup though, we knew that V5 field control would be the perfect counterpart to this dynamic. So we worked very closely with VEX developers to fast track its release and make sure it's ready for y'all. I'm going to demonstrate a beta build for you here just so we can talk through how it works. So the functionality under the hood is all going to be the same, Just know that the final graphics and interface might be a little bit different. Using a V5 robot brain for skills field control really essentially only requires one new piece of hardware, a spare V5 brain. This is literally just one that we had laying around the lab. You can use any V5 brain or cable that you have available. You also get a program that you can download from the VEX website and load onto the brain just like you would a normal user program coming out of Xcode. When you start the program, it'll walk you through the steps needed to begin a match. So I'm gonna fire up this brain as if this one were sitting at the side of the field. I have the event program right down here in the corner and start it just like a normal program would. In a moment, it's going to pop up, asking me if I want to run a driver or programming skills run. I'm going to go ahead and pick driver. Tells me to connect my controller. Use the smart cable to connect to my V5 controller. This is the one that the team brings to the field as if it were a normal match. When it's connected, the controller will turn on, and then the brain will direct you to turn your robot on and connect it with VexNet. So I'll go ahead and turn on my robot here. I've already paired this brain to this controller before the video, so should link. All right, and then now that it's linked, the brain tells me to start my user program. Again, this is just like you would in a normal match. I'm gonna go ahead and use the default drive program for this robot. Now the brain says start driver match. The brain is connected to the controller is connected to the event brain here, and the robot is in disable mode. Again, this is all exactly the same as if you would have connected your controller to the field. When I start my driver match, my 1 minute begins counting down right there on the brain, and I can drive and complete my skills run. When it's time to end my match, all I have to do is click end early on the brain, and it'll send a disable signal to the robot and display the time that you completed it in. If you don't select end early, it'll still disable at the end of a minute, again, just like normal. This also works for programming skills. Again, you just click programming on the brain, select your programming skills program on the brain, and away you go. As you can tell, this exciting new setup makes running a skills match more efficient than ever before. I know it also spurs a lot of questions probably. I do have answers to many of these questions, but please be aware that many of the logistics and the details of using a V5 brain for field control are still being finalized. For example, yes, this functionality does work for teams that are running a Cortex on their robot, but it requires a special cable adapter, very simple, that we're going to be releasing very soon. Also, VEX and the REC Foundation are working together to ensure that event partners who do not have access to a spare V5 brain will be able to get one with the skills field control preloaded onto it. It'll be very similar to how you receive grants for things like trophies or field kits. Again, details not finalized today. I don't have like a sign up form for you, but if you're a registered event partner, your regional support manager will be in touch soon with more information. And for those of you concerned about a V5 battery lasting all day when next to a skills field, I do also have a power adapter to plug a V5 brain directly into a wall plug. Again, details coming very soon, I promise. So lots of exciting things on the horizon. Keep an eye out for this year's ref training videos, as well as the VEX knowledge base article that's linked from the skills appendix for more information as these details become finalized. We are also working very closely with the REC Foundation to ensure that any official early season events are accommodated accordingly if things aren't quite ready. The fourth and final component of the update is the rankings, which essentially needed to be tweaked in order to know what we're going to be doing with this skills stop time. At a local event, rankings are still determined primarily by your top scores, your second highest scores, and so forth. At a local event, your top combined scores are still the primary tiebreakers. So rankings at a local event will still be set relative to how you perform against your peers within that event. On the global level, however, stop times for your highest scoring runs become a more prominent tiebreaker. So global rankings will continue to incentivize those truly high-performing, best of the best teams in the world to push themselves and each other to new heights as the season goes on. So as you can tell, lots of new information, lots of exciting things coming soon. I am thrilled to share this update with you all today, and I hope you are thrilled as well. I think this season is going to be better than ever, and I can't wait to see what you all do with it. Good luck, hope you're all staying safe, and I will see you on the playing field.
losing viewers.
Just
Losing
unmute
viewers,
us.
Unmute us.
The Office and recommended.
Just unmute.
All right, we're good. We're good.
All right.
That's
So
wild.
So
That-
timing isn't really going to matter at all until late season.
GDC
because-
bad.
GDC
Okay,
bad.
yeah.
I like what they did with skills though. I
Yeah.
like that you have to descore. That's what I wanted. The fact that they're making event partners carry around a brain is kind of stupid. I think just do that with like NAP, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it makes it so teams are less likely to cheat, but the actual skills changes themselves, I'm happy with. Makes it more interesting.
yeah.
So what's the max score now? Is it just the same?
I can go
Or
ahead
is
and
it-
calculate it real quick while you guys
It's
are talking.
63 points higher, right?
Whoa.
It's 63, isn't it not? Because
Yeah.
if you were to get rid of all the blue balls and have all the positive balls, the formula is red minus blue plus 63.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So your max score
318,
should
right?
still be 63. Now, it doesn't incentivize having lines, does it? Or rows or whatever they're called?
I don't think so.
So where do they-
Yeah,
This is mainly
from?
incentivizing descoring.
Wait, couldn't you still like if rows exist in skills? Couldn't you still get negative points?
Yeah, you could. I think what's going to actually happen is I know before people were trying to fill up the rows with all
Bro,
the
I want to
balls.
try to max out negative points.
All right, you go do that.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen now is before people were trying to fill all the goals with all the red balls, but now I think people are literally just going to be more focused well, they have to be way more focused on the descoring, and instead maybe just putting like one red ball in per goal so they can just get the points from the rows. Which in that case you could get like what would it be, 9 plus 30. 1 sec.
No, trapdoor is not needed for skills.
No. Whoever
Trapdoor is
says
bad.
it
I'm
is
using
bad.
an
Guys
indexer.
think
Whoever said that
trapdoor-
is wrong.
I think the ideal score where people are going to be trying to go for is 63. 120,
Yeah, I think
126.
I think indexers and sorters are really good. I think the trapdoor idea in general is just broken. The concept itself just doesn't work.
How badly does this change the new routes with the way that they have to descore as well as being able to
Completely.
get balls?
I
Yeah.
don't think you can salvage anything from old rounds.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but our special guest is requesting to join at this moment.
Okay.
So
Ooh, the special
Hello.
guest.
it's
man.
Zach from 99U.
Yes,
How's it going, Zach?
that is me.
Did you want to make a video real quick?
Since last week, the eVRC cast spent their whole budget, or whenever they spent their whole budget on Zach. This is only they have me now.
I think that was like a
I'm
month
budget
ago,
Zach.
bro.
It was a
We
month
we,
ago.
we used
Last
our
week.
we used our stimulus package on the real Zach, and now we don't have any more money.
Yep.
Yeah, I do. I'm glad because I'm not going to change my bot, but I'm going to be better off in skills now.
Yeah,
This means
tethered runs.
might-
Tethered runs.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, with the wall power thing. The you know how they had the wall power thing for the spare V5 brain?
Yeah.
Tethered runs.
You could already do sort of that.
I mean, you
with the
could, but
normal
you would
battery.
need to like
Yep,
need to
but now
like,
you got
Still
like
dies
It's
over
easier.
time.
It's just more easier now.
I wonder
Yeah.
how much if the wall outlet will provide
yeah,
the same
if
voltage
it's,
as
like,
the
the
battery
same as normal
consistently.
battery. Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'd be surprised.
What do you guys think of the new products that Vex is making you buy now? The V5 power adapter, and also some teams are gonna have to buy another brain now just to
Didn't
practice
they
skills.
also-
No, just make the event partner buy it.
Yeah, the event,
I've
the
heard
event
that.
partner
Which-
would be the only one that would need it. But for like large events like state, they're now going to need so many more materials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for each skills field that there's going to be, you're going to need one brain at least, and I mean, brains can, like, there's so many issues that can go wrong, you're probably going to need...
I
like,
really don't
2
understand
brains.
why they had to make it a brain and they couldn't just like make something standalone.
They could have
because the brain has
integrated
so
it-
much more power than necessary to do that.
They could have integrated it in the tournament manager, and it would have been completely...
They could have,
fine.
yeah, they could have used an Arduino or like a competition switch.
Yeah. A lot of people already run like competitions off Arduino and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
an EP, because I'm actually run events myself. Running with the pies can sometimes be very inefficient. It's hard for a lot of event partners to figure it out. It's just not documented well, so that could be why they decided to go against that versus just some random code you download to your regular V5 brain. Any of their kids could figure that out.
Fair enough.
Also, can we talk about how bad the GUI looked on that?
No, yeah. Let me pull up a screenshot of that.
Someone's probably gonna make a pat.
I would rather them also have the ability to add like a V5 button, like whatever it's
One
called.
thing I was
the
saying
smart
is-
switch.
Yeah, no, because the V5 touchscreen
The screen is not great.
I
Yeah,
think
the
you're
V5
gonna have to
touchscreen
download
sucks.
texture packs for it. Just saying.
Probably.
That would be good if you could download a texture.
Someone's probably gonna make a wrapper for that soon.
Yeah, the
For-
V5
for
touchscreen
pros?
sucks.
For pros.
Yeah.
Well, because he only mentioned Vex code in there for the.
Yeah, they did say in
yeah.
the video the GUI was not final as well.
I'm
Which
sure
is
it would
good.
also have to be approved because
Dankest Vex
there's
memes?
there's nothing really stopping people from saying like you press the button it stops. Okay, you press the button it waits 1 second and stops. So
Yeah.
I'm sure like tournament organizers will just have to go through like your code if you're running like custom code on it, I guess.
Yeah.
And especially just for having like a button sensor, something like that would be nice because I'm sure everybody knows how amazing the V5 touchscreen is.
Yeah, I think it just adds way too many variables. I think it
Not
would have been
gonna
so
lie.
much better if they just
Not gonna lie, I would have been fine with a timer or just declaring how much time your skills run was gonna be.
Or just
Yeah,
like
I
a
agree.
button
And then
sensor on
integrating that
the-
into tournament. Or...
just a button sensor on the tower, like on the skills thing, so you just press that when it's done. Like, I don't know, something like that. I guess would. Be
Because
a
like
little
with
better, but
you
I
have
don't know.
like cube running and speed running, you have to just press a button once you're finished.
I'm curious to
Yeah.
see if people will integrate like timer systems into the screens, like using LVGO or something, so that they can just
That-
press a button on their controller to stop it.
That would be weird.
Yes,
kinda.
but how do you know if that's actual timer or illegal?
You don't.
Yeah, that's the thing.
All of this would have to be like approved by a TO, which is like kind of weird. I don't know. This really surprised me that the Vex actually went through and did something like with ending early.
Yeah.
I
didn't
never
expect
thought
I
The
would
only
have just
issue-
left it
yeah.
up to programming skills with
I-
this big of a change with these
I
scoring
thought
and everything.
timing would be I thought leaving it to timing would leave a lot of inconsistencies open, and
Yeah.
I think I was right.
Do you guys?
Yeah,
It probably
I
will
think
leave inconsistencies at local events, but like for state and worlds, it's definitely gonna get enforced.
Yeah.
I don't
For
know.
like local events, I would very much have been happy with you're just able to record your run and then just play it back and see how long it took.
Yeah, I agree.
Because when you get down to it, if a lot of teams are going to be scoring really fast, you're going to need that 1 or 2 seconds to get that extra bonus. If
Yeah.
it gets down to that 5th tiebreaker.
Do you
I don't
guys
really
think-
even see the
really mean
time needing to be a concept up until Worlds. You won't have that high caliber of a team necessarily maxing out programming and driver in the same event, most likely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it could have easily, the time thing, they could have easily just slapped into their, Worlds update. That way, not
Capri-
every EP is going to now need one of these, even if at a local tournament where there's no way on earth they're going to get near that. Some
Capri
teams.
show the
Unpopular
tiebreakers
opinion,
on
I think
the
it's
stream.
good. I think it's good that they're doing this because
Capri,
now
can you show the tiebreakers on stream?
skills
Yeah,
doesn't
sure.
really have a cap because even if someone maxes out the skills points,
You just get faster.
people can still get faster and strive.
is-
Which I like.
I like that.
Technically can't do it.
0 second skills run.
Ooh.
Oh.
I do.
Yeah,
I like the
mine
new
better too.
changes in the actual
Yeah,
field
overall-
I
side.
like the new changes. I just don't like how they're doing timing.
I think this
Overall,
is going to
think
make
pretty
lifts
cool.
fairly irrelevant in skills now, honestly. Unless you have a lift that can D-score while being up in the air well and fast. I think a conveyor belt with a sorter is just going to become the best way to go for skills driver. And probably skills programming now that you have
Probably.
to D-score so heavily. Which is good news for me because I don't have to change my bot.
Quick question, guys: what's the difference between a sorter and a trapdoor, or are they? the
Trapdoors
same?
are bad, sorters are good.
Okay.
You didn't explain the difference at all, but good try.
Okay, so trapdoors, it's a piece of Lexan that can flip or tilt outwards so that the balls can just slip through it. Whereas a sorter, like an
The
indexer,
separate roller.
yeah,
never leaves the
an
Okay.
indexer is just a separate roller that either keeps the balls going up or just sends them right outside the back of the bot, and it's more consistent because there's no in between. It's either spitting the balls forward or taking them back. The balls can't get stuck anywhere.
I agree.
Whereas with trapdoor, if it's halfway closed and a ball gets stuck, it's kind of screwed until it's closed, and that can waste time and skills runs or in matches where you don't where it's important that you be going at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think sorter with a good snail fast cycle speed is going to be meta.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for right now. If I can perfect that by first tourney, it's going to be easy clap.
Yeah.
Going with Dominic 2011C.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Seems like the Bathroom Alliance worked for them.
Oh boy.
No, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually expecting someone to pull up with a lift bot and just really consistently tune.
The thing about I really
agree.
thought lift bots could be somewhat viable before this whole update, but even now I think because the descoring ability, especially with your design, where you're able to throw away the opponents, in this case the blue balls, so quickly, is really useful for this. And I mean, I mean, if you have a good lift and you can if you're gonna drive a snail horribly and you can just drive a lift like a god, then by all means do that. But I just think now that snail bot is really just there's a clear difference which one's better now, especially for skills.
I think this also just completely if there was any chance that it was going to be good in the first place, I think this just completely makes Dark Knight's bot not good for skills at all anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the sorter is really good because when you're driving around in programming skills or driver skills and you take the opponent's ball out of the way, you're actually putting it in the back of the bot. So you're kind of clearing a path for
But
yourself.
then question becomes, what about just having a tray without an end? You just spit balls out of it when you take more.
Infinite tray.
No, you know, in Tower Takeover teams.
Yeah, you could spit it out the back and score.
I really feel as though some teams could find a way to make lift work. I'm honestly expecting in top 10, at least 3 of them to be lifts.
I can see lifts being good, but I don't know.
It's effort.
Either will work. It's do you want to have another subsystem on your robot that moves? But unless it's something that has another feature or something another Q block type thing, on a lift, I don't know. It would really depend. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I don't expect the tiebreaker to pass the second one.
Yeah, I mean,
you have to max your
you have to max programming
and it again for it to even matter. You'd have to max programmer and driving, and then programming and driving a second time for it to even get there. Right? I don't even see why they needed to even talk about this, to be honest.
I think maxing programming is going to be difficult, but
maxing programming twice.
It's not
I think
possible.
Out of 3 tries. Right? Out of 3 attempts, you max it twice. Now that's crazy.
It's stupid because most teams after they max it they just don't care.
Yeah,
if you max programming once, you're just gonna be like, okay, I'm happy, and then maybe you just meme the third round. No one's gonna be sweating that much.
I mean, maybe
now you have to.
Yeah, I think
the teams that get to the level of maxing programming will need to be more consistent than they ever had to be before.
Yeah.
Your run needs to work 2 out of the 3 times.
I mean, this
honestly, I think a better way to do it would have just been.
I think this is fine.
The driver time, it just adds so much complexity for the event partners now, and it's not going to be used until later in the season. I wish they would have rolled it out later.
I think they're gonna say at the EP Summit, which is coming up in a few weeks. I think it's actually exactly a month from now. They're going to say that, at an event partner level, you really won't need that. Maybe states will be the first time that they say you have to have it. And then, obviously.
But then what do you get to the point where if this actually happens in a competition though?
Who else is going to be? I don't think you'll see 2 teams that are going to be able to max programming and driver twice at a local event. I don't see it happening.
Maybe in a VexU competition.
I think for VexU, this is actually much harder than it is for high school because you still have to use a 15-inch robot. So they made that change at the last manual update. Instead of us getting both robots like we got last year, this time we get our 15, right? So you guys have the 18 and we have the 15. So making a robot that can, at least with the trapdoor, it'll make it much harder to do that. Or not the trapdoor, but the cycler.
I have some CAD. It's not I haven't released it yet because it's not final, but it's for a 15-inch that pops up, and it can basically just act like an 18-inch flywheel or conveyor bot.
Are you willing to send it?
Once it's more finalized. Right now it's still kind of jank, but basically it's an axle that slides up, and as soon as you run the main drive, it pops up to the height of an 18-inch bot, or even maybe a 21 if you want it to go that far. and then you can just treat it like an 18-inch conveyor, and you can do everything else the same as long as it's within 15 length and width. But height is basically fine because again, you can just use a hood the same as you would an 18-inch.
Yeah, the
And-
15 I have right now is pop-up hood, staying from
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, I think that's the strat. I think double conveyor or like double flywheel is going to be really good in VexU once people get good at it.
Wait, whoa.
Double
What did you just?
flywheel?
Oh, like for both, like each robot has one
Oh.
flywheel?
Yeah, like not,
Or
not one robot
conveyor?
with two
Or one
flywheels.
conveyor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say monkey noises.
No, yeah, I think one
Flywheel.
conveyor is just like one conveyor, one lift. I think it's kind of going on the same strat that people in VRC last year were like, okay, well, yeah, if you have a tray and one claw, then the claw can complement the tray. It just didn't really ever work like that in
It's
match,
like
and I think the
teams-
same.
Teams just kind of see two designs as like, oh, they're definitely meant to complement each other. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
Yeah.
really just two concepts. I had a friend
Yeah.
message me a second ago, and he had an interesting idea. Why didn't Vex just make an update for the controller OS so that when you single tap the power button, it would just stop the skills program and display the time?
That's a
that
good
would've worked.
idea.
That would've worked.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Why didn't they do that?
Why
That's a
didn't
really
they
good
do that?
question.
It would
That's
take
a
more
really
time
good
to be
question.
visible with that. Like
What'd
they
you say, Owen?
obviously did this like in a hurry, because they did this all in like what, a month and a
month.
half. So we may see that in the future. Like it's pretty clear that like with the controller UI, that's like not really what they're focusing on. Like they're gonna make updates in the future, and hopefully they'll add like an update to the controller OS, because then at that point you don't even need a spare brain.
Yeah,
It'll
no,
just,
that
like,
sounds like
know,
the best way.
I don't know why
just,
they
like,
didn't make it.
undoubtedly.
Having it on the controller
mean,
probably would have been better because
yeah.
it's just
I
ended
don't-
up. You
and then it would have
stop your
been
run,
it would have been easier for the actual driver to control it.
Yeah, I agree.
and the EP doesn't have to buy another brain dedicated just for skills.
I mean,
exactly.
they can do that in the
Or
future,
multiple for
like-
skills depending on
Yeah.
the size of your event.
Like nothing they said here was like 100% final. It's pretty clear that they just wanted to like have something working for this.
Get their
like,
general idea out.
They didn't
Yeah.
want to just be like, oh, we're stopping finals early, and then they don't actually have anything working for it. Like they clearly wanted like a first design here, and I feel like this is a good starting point, just having the brain there. But there are clearly some things they can improve on.
Yeah, like based on the UI, I don't think
Yeah.
anything right now is finalized. They could easily just port that over to the brain
Hey guys, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt.
or the controller.
There's some information since we have some VexU teams in this cast as well as people watching.
What's up?
Rules have changed for VexU skills. You may now only use the 15.
Yeah, it's a
That
that's
that happened
no.
2 weeks ago.
Confirmed for-
Oh, I'm an
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah,
That's been confirmed for a while.
good job.
Capri.
I actually said that. A few
I'm
seconds
gonna be
ago,
quiet
pal.
this
You
entire
literally
time.
said it.
Cap,
Monkey
you
noise?
just the
Monkey
stream
noise?
coordinator.
Monkey noise.
Moment count.
Guys, do you think that they should have just waited 2 more weeks with a more final version?
No, I think
No,
it's
I'm
fine.
happy they did the skills. I wish they would have like polished the timer itself more,
Timing,
but I
yeah.
understand why they rolled
I don't
those
really
out both
care.
at the same time.
I don't care
Now,
about the
I
timing,
know.
really.
I know at least what they're trying to do now. So.
Yeah, I don't think most like high school or VexU teams really care about the timer that much right now. So I'm happy they just released the
Because
skills. With
they
it.
have like how many months? There's no competition that's gonna hold on for like another couple months, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they set it up where the first event you can host in most U.S. states is going to be starting October.
Yeah. So they
At least
have.
I can't host an event until then, according to Robot Events.
They
You
have
should go to North
pretty much-
Union so that you can get your like award put in, so you can go to the night at the museum.
Oh,
Why would I do that when I can go to Loudonville?
all the homies
Because
hosting it.
Loudonville doesn't put in their scores.
All the homies hosting. a
You know what?
competition in
That's
Wuhan.
fair, but also okay.
I'd go to Loudonville just to vibe, but I also want to go to the night at the museum.
Okay. I think we're good on skills change then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty
Can we
happy
talk?
overall with it.
Can we talk about resources for competitors?
Yeah,
Like
go for
new
it.
competitors or what?
Capri, you can put that up.
Sir.
That. Okay. So we've seen, at least for us, we've seen that like a lot of competitors, or at least a decent amount of people, kind of just stay on the Vex forum and nothing else. You can see from the video, like GDC just says Vex forum kind of good, Discord kind of bad. I think
I'm kind of sauce though.
I mean, you gotta
I
promote
pers-
your own thing.
I personally think that there are way more opportunities to learn if you come on to Discord, because like there's toxic communities obviously, but there's a lot of people willing to teach a lot of people. I know a lot of teams who were like relatively bad because they just looked on a forum for updates, looked on a forum for like ideas and all that stuff. Then when they got on Discord and found like people who can mentor them, all that stuff, they instantly just got insane.
Well, can I say something about VTAL for a second?
Yes.
I honestly feel like VTAL is better for making friends than finding like actual resources.
Yeah.
But the thing is, once you make friends with people who are actually good, they'll help you out a lot. So
Yeah.
it's VTAL is like indirectly really good for helping out new teams, but it's not. It doesn't really show like appear on the surface like that.
Yeah.
Because
On the
some people
surface,
just
people
go
like
in.
just troll.
Yeah, a lot of people troll on. I mean, on the forums too. There are just a lot of trolls everywhere, but
Yeah.
yeah, VTAL is mainly good for meeting new people.
I'd
Just in
like to
general.
say, like, I think this is a true statement, but for the average active base, the level of competitiveness in VTAL for the active people is higher than the forums. I think
Oh,
that's a true
that's
statement.
Yeah, that's
guaranteed.
true.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah,
I'll
Like
throw-
just on this voice chat, we have SIG champions, we have finalists, we have people who are like known to just be good all around, and we just talk in VTAL.
Yeah, I
Could I say
mean, like
something really quickly?
pylons, especially pylons
Yeah,
for like,
pylons.
coding. They're
You can
really
literally come to VTAL and meet the world champions who have like full documents on ODOM code and just
yeah.
talk
I
to
mean,
them.
like a lot of people just go in general, but if you go in software, pylons are just always on there, like helping out new
Software is big
teams.
brain, but it also
Yeah.
makes you feel stupid if you
Yeah.
don't have big brain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hotel.
software's kind of mean sometimes.
I mean,
Yeah.
especially hotel, just like
Hotel.
people
Dude,
with
hotel's
that.
just
But yeah,
vibing.
like you can literally talk to the people who develop pros of like
Yeah.
basically any time. And then that's VTAL. Let's talk about VexCAD.
Wait, could I say something about VTAL really quickly?
Sure.
Even though my IQ is like below 0 at this point, I can confirm that my IQ has gone somewhat to moderately higher after joining VTAL. Like the community, like,
Capri's not garbage now.
I'm not
Anymore,
as
yeah.
garbage. Like
Fair.
it appears really toxic, and as to quote Mr.
It
GDC
is.
here,
And it
it's
is, and
it's a
it is.
scary
That's
place.
all it
It's
is.
a scary
But
place.
that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
Yeah,
online.
but
Yeah.
like it's actually helpful. Like just straight up
You
ask.
just
and
find the
everyone will
good
help you.
people that will help you. Like
Grow up, kids.
all you need is someone to just literally send a picture of your robot saying what's wrong with this, and they'll spend a decent amount of their time telling you what's wrong with your
And
robot.
they might roast you about it a little bit, but
that's
they will help,
good. That's
learn
good.
they will help you make it better, and that is what
Yeah.
the goal is of joining one of these servers in the first place. So you might get roasted a little bit, but it's worth
You
it.
might get to VTAL and end up just branching off to a completely different server to talk
Nah,
with
bro.
your.
Getting shit on is like the best motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa,
exactly.
Vex
PG,
one,
PG,
Vex one.
PG.
Oh, getting burgered
Yeah.
on is like the best motivation.
Good save.
Yeah, it increases like competitiveness, especially.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
just
if you're
saying.
friends with especially with other people in your area, it makes you like want to get better than them and stuff. So
You can just
overall
you can also
competition's good.
coordinate scrims easier. You could just,
Yeah, you can scrim with other people.
Yeah.
Just like if you meet people at competitions, like just keep in touch with them. Like ask them about scrims. Like you can host scrims or they can. Just connections in general are really good for
Yeah.
just Vex in general.
Best comparison I can think of this is if you have a class with someone in school, there's a difference between sitting with them at lunch and going out to hang out with them. And you're probably going to learn more from going out and actually hanging out with them instead of just sitting studying.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just become friends with them in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've just
then
met a lot of people in like if you think about it in Vex, just think of like all the people like that you've met. Just like people from across US, just North America in general.
yeah.
Also
Imagine
around
just
the world, like 8059.
8059 talks sometimes in VTAL.
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
But like
Yeah.
yeah, VTAL is just larger. You probably will get better just by being in it and asking questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now VexCAD, probably one of the more recent
XCAD is
servers
a lot
here.
better, yeah.
VexCAD is insane. How it's new, but it's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this one's
VexCAD's
definitely on the
boosted.
rise. This one's led very well, in my opinion. There's a lot
Uh,
of different positive vibes coming from this server.
Yeah. So to summarize, the people who don't know, VexCAD is a server for what it says, CADing in Vex. You have basically just talk about like different library. We have a public library that gets updated constantly with proper textures so that your CAD matches real life. There's different libraries for all the different things. We have Inventor, a Fusion library in the works that looks insane right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, dude,
And then,
I'm so hyped for the Fusion one.
and then we have SolidWorks. Owen can always rep that.
Yeah, I finished the first version. I still have to add some things to it, but it's usable as of now.
You can see like a lot of competitors who just want to help other people out made a whole Discord server dedicated to CAD and bettering your versions of CAD. You literally just send a message in the help channel, and then within like 2 minutes, someone's there is like either giving you a resource to help or like pinging you and telling you who can help you.
Yeah.
One
So
thing the forums has is like long-term things. So like you can find threads from 10 years ago on the forums.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think the forums are good for like posting resources,
Mhm.
and like Discord servers in general are good for like promoting those sources.
I don't know.
So,
I think
yeah, forums are
Discord,
good
you
for all.
kind of can get more personal on your own thing. Because like
Yeah, I
Discord, you can literally just go post a
Yeah.
picture saying, "Why isn't this working?" And then someone
Yeah.
will ask you. Versus on the forum, if you do that, you're basically just spamming.
Yeah, I'd say Discord is definitely easier to use than web forums.
Yeah.
It's more
Yeah,
intuitive.
especially like you can talk to people real time and just like join voice chats and stuff.
Mhm.
Also, no 20
yeah.
character limit, so you
Yeah.
20
go to
character
town
limits.
typing O and then K in separate messages, and you could end up
Exact-
like Boots, 200k messages.
200k messages.
Did he hit 200k?
Almost. He's still like
He's like, yeah, really
10k
close.
away.
No, he's like
10K,
1k away.
like
He's
1,000.
like 1k away.
He's 1k really? Oh,
Something like that. Last time I checked, he was 1.5.
crazy. I guess yeah, VexCAD. If you want to like focus on CADing stuff, not even just CADing stuff. Like they help with renders. I know there's some people there that like have experience with Keyshot, Blender, all that type of stuff. You can just ask. And then
Yo, if anyone needs help with Blender, hit me up. Blender's my shit.
He is 1200.
Noah
away.
Epic. Yeah. And yeah, next one, Vex Advanced Wisdom.
Yeah, I saw that, but
It's
I'm not sure.
from what I'm understanding, it's basically a lot of different teams trying to collaborate to bring like documents of like certain things in Vex. I know like it's being mainly run by like XD and BLRS, which are two prominent VexU teams with a lot of members with many years of experience in Vex.
Well, if you didn't know, BLRS made pros, so
Yeah, BLRS made pros, and like I'm pretty sure half of you guys use it. So, well,
Yeah,
well,
Advanced
you
Wisdom.
should.
The Advanced Wisdom server is more of a Vex U and Vex, like the new AI challenge. It's what it was made for. But we're now expanding a little bit more into like high school building techniques, some more basic high school programming stuff. They're using some high school partners that we have from some teams.
Middle school, just for your middle school people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I also just got an update from one of my friends that's on the GDC, and the reason they're using the V5 instead of like a button is because they needed to accommodate Cortex systems that are still being used.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
Fair
that makes
enough.
sense.
Fair
When are they
enough.
outlawing Cortex? Haven't they? Didn't they
Probably
talk
in,
about
like,
it last season?
Probably
Well,
either
they
next
did.
season
They never outlawed PIC technically.
It's up to the TOs.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That is true.
So
Yeah, the tournament controllers, like on the fields, the towers still have the 75 megahertz crystals on them. So, like, if you really
ever want
want
to
to,
use the
you probably
PIC.
could.
Yeah.
It's obviously not being updated still, but I'm sure if you just go to some event with it, they'll let you use it probably.
But yeah, Vex Advanced Wisdom, just another resource for people who just want to like learn more about Vex. Also on Discord.
yeah,
And
and
then
if you're one of those people that's scared of Discord, most of the docs will actually be coming to the forum eventually.
yeah,
But they're being developed on Discord.
It's
Okay.
quite scary.
Discord scary. And now last server we have right in here is xRC Sim. Like I said earlier, xRC, you can simulate change-up strategy. They host tournaments. I believe it's once a month right now. I've heard they're trying to get it more frequently, but you can literally just hop on, practice skills, practice driver, configure robots slightly to be like different RPMs, different wheel sizes, all that stuff. You can go online, go against other people. Like you can just queue up a bunch of friends saying, "Hey, you want to like simulate this strategy, or what happens if this happens to a robot?" It's a more hands-on way of figuring out like certain things in the game. I wouldn't use it for like saying, "Oh, my robot can cross the field in X amount of seconds in xRC. I should expect that in real life," because it's a physics simulator. At the end of the day, it's not going to be the same as real life. But in terms of like visualizing strategy, I think it's a really good resource.
I used to plan out skills for like how I was gonna do my robot and like the previous skills layout. So that was a little helpful with that.
Yeah, xRC should be coming up with an update soon with the new skills layout sometime soonish.
Yeah.
And
It's a
then
really
you-
easy way to practice routes without actually having to physically reset the field,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice.
Being able to
And
adjust.
you can plug in a Vex remote to it.
Yeah, I believe there is tutorials online on how to properly configure that. So like it's literally just you can do a lot of stuff in the xRC simulator. I personally would use it for what Grant said, practicing runs without having to reset every time, just because it's really nice not having
Yeah,
to
like if you
reset.
get the muscle memory
Especially
down,
with a ball game.
Just getting the muscle memory down. Again, physics isn't going to be the same, but just knowing the general path you have to take, as opposed to figuring that out on the field, it's just going to take less time if you at least initially start in an xRC.
yeah, like from personal experience, the biggest like breaking point in my tower takeover skills runs was just getting that muscle memory, so I knew like what it felt like when I put up a stack, or I knew what it felt like when I had the cubes in my tray.
And he was, I believe, number 23 in the world.
Yes, sir. But the biggest, I think okay. Like just to recap a little bit, I'm really happy personally with the skills changes. I think the timer's kind of irrelevant for the moment, but I'm sure it'll come into play later in the season. And I'm just hyped to keep grinding out the bot because grinding out kind of fun though.
My opinion on the game hasn't changed too much. I'm not the biggest fan of it, although I do think people are giving it more flack than it is. It's going to be I personally think it's going to be a fun game to drive. The strategy for it seems pretty cool, even though it's semi-simple. And yeah, I think Change Up is okay-ish game so far, even with the skills updates. I going with Noah, I like the skills update as well.
I still think it'll be really confusing for people to like your parents to just watch like the game, because they really have to pay attention to like which is the top goal and then like, all 9 goals and all of that.
It's not
it's
super
definitely
simple enough to where you can just say, "Hey, they're doing this. This looks really cool."
Yeah, my parents really said that like Tower Takeover was like really cool to watch because like the stacks tipping and
yeah.
everything. But with
Not
this,
fun for me.
I mean, like they really need to know. I mean, like most people, like if they just walk off the street like into a tournament, they can generally tell that like you don't want your stacks to tip.
Yeah.
But like with this new game, they can see like 2 blue balls and a goal, and then the top one's a red one, and they'll think like blue's winning.
Yeah.
So,
They do.
yeah.
It's not like
don't
when the stacks
intuitively
fell,
know
everybody
ownership.
screamed.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just requires like more external knowledge, just from a spectator standpoint.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a good thing.
I
but,
don't really think it matters
yeah.
though, because competitors.
I mean, yeah. I'm just
I think
talking
when it
about like
comes down to it, the competitor
watching.
is what matters most. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, as my last game, because I'll be graduating this upcoming year. I kind of like this game. I think it'll be fun to play. After watching, I originally had a sort of negative opinion, but after watching some of those xRC tournaments on Twitch, it actually seemed pretty fun the way the teams were playing against each other. It just seemed more interesting than I initially thought it would be.
I think like robots in general will be refined earlier in the season than they were in Tower Takeover, because like in Tower Takeover, a lot of teams went with like double reverse 4 bars and then switched to a tray, and then it took people a while to figure out how to build rollers that weren't trash. Like
Right
it-
now-
more than 8 cubes. Like
Yeah,
and
right now
more-
with Corona, I think you have a lot more time to just get the dumb ideas out the way
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, especially with like just more free time in general, and also the game being somewhat easier to build for, because like
Yeah.
people can look at like a lot of people who are competing this year also competed for Turning Point, and like if you made a flywheel that game,
Yeah.
you can look from that and just I think that people will have more competent robots just for the challenge earlier in the season than Turning Point or Tower Takeover.
I think
Yeah.
we'll definitely see a more competitive season than last year.
Yeah. It's not
Just-
the
they're not
hardest to
gonna
make a
build
robot that works for this game.
Yeah.
It's harder to make a robot that's good.
Wait, what's
Yeah.
the name of the robot? That's the standard Vex one. What's the name of that?
Clawbot?
No,
No.
Jimmy 313T.
no, the
Is that its name?
The one
it's
Vex
robot they
came
sell.
up with.
Yeah, the one that
Yeah.
Grant was driving in the video. What's the name of that robot? It has a name. I forget it.
Big chungus.
No, it's tiny. It's tiny and it's dumb fast.
Oh.
Dummy fast. Bro, they got the 600 RPMs on that baby.
Vroom, vroom.
Let's see.
It's everything
have a
that's available
picture
in
of
a
it.
standard competition
It's
kit.
Crunch.
Yeah.
Crunch is the name.
Crunch, yeah, that's Crunch.
Yeah.
Crunch.
Crunch.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I mean, like,
you
yeah.
could probably put almost any robot on the field and probably be functional. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
Crunch is like you know when they were putting like a clawbot on the skills field for like
Mm.
nothing but net and
Yeah.
and like Starstruck, like a standard clawbot could not play the game.
no.
I feel like Crunch is like
Yeah, but like with
Somewhat
this game, it can go.
Like,
Yeah.
we have the Archer video of a clawbot maxing skills.
no, I mean like in real life too. But like
Yeah.
if a team just takes Crunch and just grinds driving, I feel like they could be better than like a team.
I would like to see that.
That,
I would
yeah,
very much
I
love
would-
to see
I-
that.
yeah.
Ooh, do we have Crunch's designer in the chat?
Oh,
Who made Crunch?
Oh,
wait, Crunch.
Wait, who made it? Did wait? Who at Vex designed Crunch?
I think it was
Grant.
Sam. I think it was Sam, but I could be
Grant
wrong.
do it?
It was Grant.
Was it?
Grant.
I mean, it is a pretty like competent robot for the game.
Yeah.
It can function.
Yeah, it's actually pretty effective for
Which I like.
compared to
I don't know why.
previous ones.
I don't know
Because,
why
like-
the drive is geared down though.
Last year, if you were gaming like with a clawbot on your team, it was just a 1v2. The clawbot couldn't do anything
Yeah.
because most of the time,
Exactly.
if they had a clawbot, you would say play defense, and they'd be like, "How do I play defense?"
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, like at a local event, I told the team that like they weren't the best. I told them to play defense, and they were like, "Well, we played defense before and we got DQ'd, so like we don't want to play defense." So I feel like this year it's a lot better, just
Yeah.
to like tell your partners to be like, instead of just saying like like in Tower Takeover, you have a 7-stack auto. You put up 2 10s in driver control. Like that's pretty good score. Your partner doesn't do anything. This year, it's like you actually have your partner do something. Yeah, Capri, can you put that the picture of
Can
the
you put
robot?
Crunch up?
Yeah,
Crunch.
that's a
Crunch.
pretty 480p picture.
That's a really
It's
nice
fine.
pic of Crunch.
But like, this is all being. You can build this with the kit,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all out of
And-
the advanced kit, I believe is.
and
So
you
they-
could probably just grind out maybe minor modifications, like maybe inside tips are probably not even needed.
Or like,
But, like,
make
you
him pick
could-
up 2 balls.
Yeah, you could probably be better than someone with no driver practice
Yeah,
with a standard kit bought with instructions on
I
how
I
to.
agree.
yeah, it just requires
Yeah.
teams at the beginning of the season just saying, what are our priorities for the season?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're a new team, just sit down with your teammates and just say, what are our goals? What are our priorities?
Exactly.
Just figure that out. At the
Know what you can do.
Yeah, because honestly, I've seen it so many times. Teams just go out and they see like this really complicated robot, and the team's like new to Vex, and they say, "Oh, I want to build this. This looks so cool," but they just end up falling short.
Yeah, all the teams that built the 448 lift and turning point.
Oh yeah, but like, if you just have like a simple robot and you drive it well, just yeah, Just figure out at the beginning of the season if that's for you.
Mhm. And then we did get confirmation that Sam did make it. The whole point of
Tweets in chat.
the whole point of it is that it's all with the starter kit and it requires no cutting of any Vex metal.
Literally just
really?
assembly.
Yeah.
Literally
You
just.
can see the towers on the top there. Just
Yeah.
sticking out.
A little too long.
It's kind of
That's
a
funny.
bog.
It's funny.
Pretty slick robot for that.
Yeah.
All right, not a little off topic. Did any of you guys ever run into a team, like new team, that had double wheels on last year's Clawbot kit? Like that
No,
would just
I
put 2 wheels on one axle?
What?
No.
What?
Maybe
I
Ohio.
did see that. I did see
Ohio might just be monkey, but I saw 3 of those teams at Kalahari.
haven't seen
Someone
it.
probably posted a video of us online. They probably just copied.
Someone's
Grant,
like,
you know what I'm
"Hey,
talking
get
about,
double
right?
the
that. Yeah,
track
I know
dude."
exactly what you're talking about. I saw it at least 2 or 3 events, but they
Yeah.
would gear it up with 600 RPM gearboxes, and it was dumb fast.
Yeah, well, I don't understand that.
Wait. I have a question about Crunch.
It would burn out. That's why they did it.
On the
Yeah.
drivetrain on Crunch, are those 200 RPM cartridges or 600s? Because it was
Probably
zooming in the reveal
600.
video.
I think it's 600 geared down.
Are
600 3 to 600 5 to 7.
5 to 7. It was zooming
5
in
to
the
7.
reveal. I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening there?
Zoomy boy.
Boy.
Yeah.
So that's only a 4-motor bot, right?
Oh, it
Yeah.
is.
Yes, it's only 4 motors.
Literally 4 motors.
6-motor
4
drive.
motors, and you can win a competition with that.
Yeah, 6-motor drive and then
6-motor
just
drive,
that.
62 spikes, skirts. Just
Oh.
push people around. That thing must weigh like 6 pounds.
Yeah, that thing has to weigh nothing.
You have no inertia though.
I mean, it's like
Imagine
this,
inertia
you're
when
not
you
allowed
got
pushing
torque.
power.
You're right. You're right.
You don't even need to like start driving. You just be next to them, and just push them.
I might tell one of my goofy teams to do that. Just gear that up to 6 motors.
Yeah.
I want a video of that.
I mean, if you're a new team,
Yeah, that's
I'm
an
not-
easy way to be pretty
Yeah.
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the 600s in there, man, it'd have some torque.
I mean,
Yeah.
Thank you,
even
Sam.
if it's 1-to-1 200. That's honestly like probably the easiest way to go.
Yeah.
Like if you just put 3 84 tooth gears there instead of the 60 tooth in the middle, you can just put 3 motors on each side and not require any like super complicated gearboxes or anything.
You just
Yeah.
probably have to extend the drivetrain a tiny bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm sure most teams have access to like a hacksaw because you can get them for like $10 at Home Depot.
Or just buy it off Robosaurus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you can't order things off like
That's
online.
true, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the instructions in chat just in case
Like,
anyone's interested.
Cap, you can pull it up.
I know some people are making, some teams in Tennessee are actually making a more comprehensive version of this because for some reason they think this is hard to understand. To me, it makes perfect sense.
What?
But, yeah. But okay, so yeah, they're standard gearboxes, and I thought they were the 200 RPMs because I have built a 600 RPM, and that gear ratio wouldn't take you down that much, and it would not be that fast.
I think it's just because it's light.
600
Yeah.
RPM is a quick robot, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Wait, so those are 200s there?
Those are 200s.
That's
You-
okay.
you
Yeah.
can see
Imagine
it
if
in
you
the
had that geared up
instructions.
to anything faster. That thing would be a
I
bullet.
swear in the reveal, in the reveal it was really fast, but I guess it was just because it was light, or maybe
Yeah,
it
it's
was
probably just
there
because
was
it weighs
another-
nothing.
Maybe there was another. I swear.
Yeah,
I saw a
like,
robot
look at
that
it. There's a whole instruction manual on how to build Crunch.
I mean,
parts
in the
with-
reveal, it could have used 600s. Nothing from
Um,
stopping that.
No, yeah, it makes sense because it's super light. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I kind of want to tell some of the goofy teams to gear that up to like 600s. Just add 4 more motors on.
Are we
But
calling
it is pretty easy to build. I mean, you can see from the instructions, it's pretty comprehensive. It tells
Wait,
you
yeah,
the
is
parts you need to
Crunch
use.
Goofy 2? Is Crunch Goofy Mark 2?
Oh.
You guys are calling it goofy, so it's like, I don't know.
Someone said they put the V6 motors on. That's why it was fast.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Oh, were they like some 300 RPM cartridges or something there?
Oh,
300
Ooh.
RPM geared down,
Oh.
5 to 7.
300 RPM. Guys, can we please get 1-to-1 ratio on the cards? Can we get like
What is
2,000
this?
RPM cartridges?
5 to 7 times 300. That's 214. Very slightly faster than 1-to-1 200.
Welcome, Leo2161N.
What's poppin'?
Everyone's
Apparently I've been.
Is there anything else to talk about?
No one told me.
Is there anything else to talk about?
Did we go
Yeah, do
over
you
the
have anything
resting
exciting?
Capri segment?
The what?
Did you talk about the new skills field layout? I was gone for a bit there.
Yeah.
I think you actually have to descore middle tower. That's gonna be interesting.
You have to descore everything if you want to be good, which I like.
People are kind of
Oh,
slow
yeah.
at descoring middle right now.
Descoring middle kind of sucks.
I
Not
think
gonna
people
lie.
are just bad at it right now.
Descoring middle's easy.
I mean, if you want to like descore and intake it, that's something completely different than just pushing it out the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Pretty sure it's just push it out the middle.
Descoring and intaking really comes down to how flexible your intakes are, and if they're built to like if your intakes aren't built to descore for middle, they're not going to. That's
Yeah.
But if you build your intakes around being flexible and being able to work around it, it's fairly simple because there's enough wiggle room that you can get the balls going. Like that's when I was testing with flap intakes before I just stuck the retard omnis on because I wanted to. It's
No,
PG, don't PG.
I personally think that. PG.
I'm sorry.
I personally think that you probably should be building your intakes around descoring middle, and then they should just work on the other goals since less pull.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Because-
also for a newer team, just pushing out the balls is not that hard.
Yeah, but like
with one
we're
intake.
talking about
TV
like
angles.
high level.
Like
Like,
even if your
ceiling.
intakes don't stick out that much, you could just have like a thing that flips down on the back of your robot and just pushes
Yeah,
it
just
out.
have like a cap hitter
Or
from
if you look at
TP.
any tip as well. It's just any tip / middle Goldie score.
Yeah.
I've even seen like certain teams just experimenting with just having like a mini ramp as a pusher that just rams into the goal and then just ramps all the balls out.
Yeah.
Yo, combo wedge / middle descore.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh?
No.
Oh?
Oh?
Leo, you can't be leaking like that. What else are we good?
I mean, just some personal leaks. I think what I'm gonna focus on in the near future, just make my intakes not bad, and then just try to get my cycle time as fast as possible, just with smaller tuning on the drums and everything else.
Anyone else want a personal leak?
Making my robot thinner. Using custom gearboxes that allow the caps to be integrated into printed parts, which has turned out pretty fun. I have one in front of me where I took the same gearbox as the other one, but it actually saves more space, and I don't have to do that like where the two motors are like not hitting each other, so they're fit in between the others. Now I can actually have a total of 1 zip tie's worth of space between the two gearboxes.
I personally plan on just winning LOL.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, pretty simple.
You always got to be ready to lose, man.
Just
I'm planning on making my robot better than
Nice.
non-existent.
Good. That's good.
Thank you,
I'm gonna,
2020
like-
division
That's how I
champion.
win.
Yeah, I'm gonna look more into rubber band rollers because they seem kind of OP.
Oh,
They're
dude,
pretty great.
Can
They're
confirm
really
rubber band rollers are
They
amazing.
are pretty good.
Rubber band rollers are
for
the
this
best.
game.
People just
Rubber-
forgot they existed.
Rubber band rollers work very well for this game because it's easy to, if you jump up a motor power, it doesn't put that stress on the motor as easily as if it were like a normal conveyor.
Not gonna lie, I kind of think people said conveyor and then just thought of actual conveyors, but forgot that people have been using rubber band rollers for like infinite years now.
Yeah, ever since Nothing But Net, every time I look at a ball, I look at a rubber band roller.
Yeah, I started off just doing Vex sprockets and flap, and then I was like, okay, wow, this puts a lot of stress on the motor, and it's really not that fast. And then I switched to rubber band because I was thinking about turning point intakes. Like turning point, just ball went zoom, and as long as it was anywhere
Zoomy
close,
boy.
the rubber
Yeah.
bands just sucked.
I think YY's idea of having the track made of Lexan for the indexer is interesting, but that minimizes strain because you're actually getting good contact.
Yeah.
But I think probably still not as good as rubber bands.
I think it's overcomplicated, not in a way like, not motor overcomplication, but just the idea itself. It makes it more of a track than the ball just flowing naturally. And when the ball is just going with the rubber bands, there's so little stress on the motors, so you can run them at a way
Exactly.
higher RPM.
Yeah, and you can
Well,
free run
everyone-
them.
Yeah, it's kind of what everyone did in Nothing But That in Turning Point.
Yeah.
You can just, in mine, I have the intake running basically, or the uptake running all the time, and the shooter
Yeah.
doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
It puts no stress on the balls or the motor.
Well, I'm not worried about stress on the ball.
The ball.
Dude, you don't want to stress out the balls. What if they break?
Dude, if the ball, okay. I've been testing for only like a month or something. My ball's already super scratched up.
Bro.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah, they scratch easy.
Yeah, they scratch
One
really easy.
thing-
I
Turning
haven't
point
cracked one
V2.
yet.
Turning point V2.
Pretty much.
I wonder if that'll make a difference later in the season. I doubt it will, but like
I'd be
having a
s-
scratched up ball, like
I don't think so.
I
Yeah,
don't
because
think
it's
so.
not like turning point where it makes it that much more difficult to grip.
Bro, you're
Especially,
literally just
It'll
like the
probably
ball.
be lower friction.
like in turning point, like for flywheels, like shooting them, just having grip is a lot more important than just picking up three. I
Yeah.
think it's more comparable to buckyballs getting scratched up, where that didn't
Yeah,
actually affect
definitely.
anything
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
I don't think this will affect you, and especially with rubber band rollers, it totally won't affect anything.
Like
Yeah.
this is really what change-up is like most comparable to, like just toss-up.
Yeah.
Because I mean the change-up balls are 6 inches in diameter and weigh 170 grams, and toss-up is like 5 inches in diameter and weighs like 130 grams, I think.
Yeah.
I looked this up a little while ago.
I think in terms of gameplay, it's a lot comparable to like the top buckyball like switching in toss up.
Yeah. Except it's a lot more important than the top buckyball switching.
Yeah.
It's more just like the large balls.
Yeah.
I'm still
I think
very
like gameplay will be a lot more like turning point, but with the game
Yeah.
elements of toss up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Vex, what they did is they had turning point where they had caps that were just not used at all. I mean, like especially on posts. Barely
No
any
offense,
teams put
bro.
them on
I was
posts.
saucing as a cat bot early season.
I
Early
mean,
season
yeah.
cat bots couldn't be slept on. But yeah, late season they were just kind of
Like late
there.
season,
Late season, they were just kind of confirmed points though.
yeah, I think Vex saw that and really just said we don't want to overcomplicate games anymore, so we're just having like
One
a
element.
lot
So they're ending
fewer
up just being
rules.
like simple, like
No,
you.
I don't want to say
what-
that because it's only been 2 games, and the 2 games in a row have had that. But I mean, they have
yeah.
many games developed in the future, and I'm sure some of them at least have 2 elements. But I think they're being a lot more careful of making certain parts of the game just like not viable at a competitive level.
So like just figuring out weights properly.
Yeah. I mean, like if caps were worth double the score, we definitely
They
would
was
see
100%.
Yeah, I mean, like flipping a cap on a post, that's 8-point swing.
Yeah.
We've had
And
3 in a row with
especially-
light elements. Like, because we had the heavy elements in Mogos, stars were fairly heavy. And then, like, they've been light elements for the last 3.
I just want to say one thing that I think is really good that they did in the skills update was that I felt like the most ideal driver and programming skills game was in the zone, because there's pretty much an infinite skill ceiling, but it was very balanced between driver and programming, because in driver you could in driver and programming it wasn't like impossible to get 100 like
It wasn't.
just for either, or 102, but I feel like having it be like there's a lot of points you can get one way and then you can get very few points in another way. I feel like that's really good because
you see teams trying different ways.
Well, you see teams be like encouraged to do programming skills more, not just like what tower takeover, where teams could put up like if Safa ran a 1-point auto at States, he still would have won. So yeah, because his 175 plus 1 point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's really good that they changed it so the majority of the points are from connecting rows and descoring connected rows. So you'll see a lot of teams just take the 3 tall like ones, the one or the goals that have 3 blue balls in them, just descore them and then put a layer of red balls over everything. So I didn't look at the field super in depth yet, but how many goals have 3 balls in them? Is that 3?
Only the center. Only the center, I thought.
It's just the center, I believe.
Cappy, pull it up.
It's the center. So
Yeah, I
Pull it
believe
up.
the
Center.
corners are 2. The
No,
ones between them are
3.
1, and
Wait, no,
then
that's the old
Oh,
one.
we got a corner.
That's the old one.
That's old. That's old,
It's
Captain.
just the center. Yeah,
Only
it's just
center.
the center. So if you want to score a lot of points, what you do is you just descore the center one and score 9 points. That would be very comparable as scoring all the Mogos and in the zone. And
Yeah.
if you want to get a few more points, what you do is you get, like, after just doing all that, you can score like red balls and descore blue ones like on top of that, which would be comparable to scoring cones.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is like probably one of the best things they could have done to fix skills. Since I mean, the one thing I don't know if we're gonna ever see a max driver. We probably will, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we'll see
mean,
Max
the
driver.
one thing about having max driver is like the one thing that's like falls short about the skills challenge, because in the zone you really, like, nobody would ever max skills like 80 cones. Like, no.
No.
But with this,
I just don't think
you
you would.
may.
That's what it was.
This, I don't know. I haven't looked at it. I haven't like analyzed it all yet. I just saw the picture of the field and saw it, but I don't know.
One
I
thing
I'm
think
not
with the
sure
new
if you're
changes, descoring fast is more important than scoring fast.
not really, because you just need to push one out.
Well,
Well,
no,
just
but like if you want to
3 out
max.
and 2
I
out.
mean, yeah, if you want to max.
I think max programming is a lot harder now, given how
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
descoring.
With the
You have to
field
descore
layout.
everything.
You have to
Yeah.
descore 3 centers. That's gonna be really hard with programming. To do
I mean,
consistently.
Unless you're Vex
I don't know. Yeah, I think if you have it so that you can intake balls and then just spit out the back, like again, I think that's just a huge advantage.
I think the use of sensors is going to be like a lot increased this year, because if you want to intake the 3 center balls there, you want to like actually make sure you actually intake them all.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, maybe like line sensors and stuff, like especially on 2114X last year, just line sensors and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Maybe the new color sensor, like
Yeah,
for
I'm
what
gonna
you
be
were
using the
talking about
color
earlier,
sensor personally.
for like the center goal and whatever like that. But yeah,
It'll be interesting, like
yeah, I think
avoiding
this
the
is
balls that you descore.
yeah, I think this was really good what they did to skills, because yeah, I don't think many people are gonna max it out.
No.
I don't know, maybe I haven't looked at it
Yeah.
close enough yet, but
All
just
right,
looking
boy.
at it right now,
I don't
yeah,
think stop time will actually matter
stop
much.
time won't
It's
actually
not.
matter. It won't matter at all.
Maybe
Yeah.
Worlds.
Second
Maybe
time,
Worlds.
maybe,
No,
maybe
because
world.
I don't see anybody maxing out programming really.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't see people maxing out programming
Not in high
twice,
school.
especially.
Not
I
in high
mean,
school.
The
Twice,
only
yeah.
time, the
like
only time stop time will actually matter is if if two teams get the same score, like at a local level or a state level, because I don't really see multiple teams maxing out programming. If two teams get the exact same driver and exact same programming, then that would actually come into play. And a second skills run, because it takes your top 2, right?
Mhm.
yeah. Does that mean
Yeah,
that
so I
you
don't
have
know.
to do 2 runs if you max the first one?
I mean, the only way I can see this is if two teams are running like the same run, like last year, like it was pretty common for teams to run a 168 or something,
The 168,
168
yeah.
driver. I mean, the only way I really see that is if teams just running that skills run, and then like that's not exactly a max, but it's a competitive skills score, and they do that twice.
So like
Both
if someone just
both
puts
teams do
up
it
a
twice.
public skills run and people just whole count it.
Yeah, like Tilden's run last year,
Yeah.
kind of.
Tilden's run.
But
That
he's like
was iconic.
Tilden's
block.
entire robot.
Coup block.
Q block heavy run though.
Coup block.
Coup block.
Coup block.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
mini
I mean,
tray was so
I
big burned.
still don't see multiple teams going for a run and then both teams hitting it twice.
Yeah.
I don't really see that happening.
Well,
I think
don't
someone's
either.
gonna choke.
I mean, honestly, that's probably a good thing, considering if let's say it was like really easy to max out driver or something, and it relied on the stop time, you would definitely see a lot of unhappy people in the forums complaining about their TOs being like not stopping it at the right
Yeah.
time or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad it's like a very insignificant thing about it, and if it happens, it's gonna be a big deal. Like like if there's like let's say like a V5 screen just like doesn't work, so they like click it 6 times and then lose like 5 seconds on their run, and then that make the difference at like a world level.
It should
Then
definitely be a physical
I don't-
button.
It should definitely have the
Yeah.
ability to have a
Yeah, like
physical
a
button. I don't see
button
why it
sensor.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Like at least an
bumper
optional
switches
thing to
exist.
add.
Just
Bumper switches exist.
Just
Or
like
bumper
like
switch or just
power-
like
A limit
power
switch
button.
or something.
cut off a
the-
limit switch or something and
Or
add
the
something.
already-
power button. Yeah.
There's already
Yeah.
a button on the brain. Just use that.
Yeah,
Like it's already a custom program.
I mean, just like say or a bumper sensor on port A or something like legacy port A,
Yeah.
and you don't have to use it. It's just if it's there, it works. That's just like an extra
Oh,
thing
then
that
code-
takes like one line in code for.
And then
for
codes
GDC.
compress it. Coach compress
Yeah.
it, and it's better.
Yeah, the driver coach could press it. Well,
Well,
one
I
thing
don't
they would
think
have
they'd
to
ever
do-
allow
That's
that.
not.
No. One thing
That's
they would
not
have to do is they have to say
Yeah.
when you press the button, it disables your robot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it would make sense. So like you pull back
Oh,
at the
yeah,
last second
yeah,
and they
you're
press
right.
it. So
Because then it would
mean,
be
that
the
is what
fault
it
of the
does.
team.
then you don't
Yeah,
have to
that's what
grab
it
your
does.
controller. Because like I'm sure like I don't know if you guys have all done IQ, but in IQ what you're allowed to do is you're allowed like if your robot breaks during a run, you're allowed to put down your controller and fix your robot like mid run. Like
Mhm.
Wait, really?
yeah, you're
Yeah.
allowed
That's epic. That's
I'm pretty
epic.
sure that was when I did Vex IQ, but
You
I
still
think
can
it's
do
I
that.
think it's still a thing. But
I'm pretty sure you can.
Yes.
but,
Wait, my
yeah.
robot broke.
And
Give me a
if your robot tips, you could just untip it.
yeah, that is a thing.
But you have to put it. I think you have to put it back at the starting area.
Yeah,
What
but
teams
still.
would do is they would just like
Wait, it's actually so brain. Just
They
And
make
the
it
thing during
perfectly set.
Auton, where you
They would
just
have a
grab
pin
the
to
bot
pull,
and you
right?
just put it wherever you want.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, there's prog skills. There's no auto period in IQ.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It-
what I
it's
meant.
just
That's what I
prog
meant.
skills. But you are allowed to do that still. If you looked at what was their team at
Wait,
127
you're allowed to do that in driver control too.
No, are you sure?
I'm pretty sure you're allowed to do that. in
I
driver.
think you're getting off topic.
I'm just
I
gonna be
don't know.
carrying my bot all over the field.
I don't know. Well, this actually ties into a big thing about programming skills this year, which is in toss up. That was the last year you were allowed to touch your robot when it was
Mhm.
touching the starter tiles. So
Such a dumb rule.
I mean, I don't know. If you look at 599Bs,
That's
what team is that? I'm sure you guys know what the run
599.
is.
Yeah, the
599D or something.
top
They-
programming run
yeah,
where
it
you're
was
literally
the-
turning it every 3 seconds.
They fixed that in toss up, so you couldn't do that. But I don't know. I don't see anyone maxing out skills this year, or programming. Driver, like maybe.
I don't either.
Programming,
I don't think you can max programming with the new changes unless you like grind super heavy.
I think.
I mean, yeah, I still have
I
to
see, like,
analyze driver. but, like,
Pylons are.
I
somewhat
personally,
good.
I think that it's going to be really hard but doable, and then I don't think they're going to be doing it twice.
Yeah, I agree.
So time still doesn't matter.
I think it's gonna be
like a
like
lucky
that
run.
run. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And just hope they're recording.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are we good then?
I think we kind of wrapped up.
I think we're good.
What do you guys think about a community Scribble game?
I'm good. I'm good.
I gotta eat dinner.
I'm out.
I
It
also have to
was
eat.
fun. It was fun talking with you guys.
Yeah. Everyone stay
all the-
followed for eVRC number 3. Maybe after like the first tournament or another big change or
Maybe
something.
when
Who
China
knows?
comes up.
Featuring a special guest that you all know
Oh.
and love.
The one,
no
the
leak?
only.
No leaks? No leaks?
I wanted to make
Who?
The one, the only anti-chamber.
It has to be a secret. It has to be a
Kevin
Post on forums,
Chen.
All I'm saying is all the homies hate GDC for releasing the manual update in the middle of the stream.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean,
fact.
it was
Okay, it was kind of hyped. It was kind of.
was kinda hype.
It was better than not releasing it at all. So you gotta
Yeah.
give GDC that.
Alright.
You know what? I'm happy that
I'm
GDC
happy
did
that I'm happy they took their time and made it good.
They
made,
just
like, an
totally.
official video and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
I-
only thing that
and
people
Mr.
will
Grant,
cross is the
Any
screen.
And we got to see driving.
yeah.
How
I'm
much?
saying Grant Cox won't be on the next eVRC.
I would like to say thank you, Caffrey, for hosting the stream, even though you're kind of a monkey.
Jimmy.
He's muted right now.
You're a-
You mean
Thank-
Junior 3113?
Oh, sorry,
You're
Jimmy.
ever so
31
welcome. You're ever so welcome.
You're
Okay.
actually
How long
a
have you been
fan
muted?
for him now.
the entire time.
Why?
Yeah, I just want to say for viewers, we make fun of Capri because we're friends with him. We don't
Yeah.
actually. Like,
It's not.
I am
It's
we don't
not
actually,
harassment.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
not
he
like that
knows,
guy.
Yeah.
He knows. He does it to us. It's
If
okay.
anyone can
Kind
hear
of
me
smells
out there,
weird though.
yeah.
Guys, just remember, it's just consent. You need consent, and then you can do whatever you want.
Stop.
All right, before we wrap up, I'd
Thank
love
you
to
for the
say,
lesson, Ben.
please, everyone follow easier.robotics on Instagram.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, shut
Ah.
up.
Everyone follow at PSU VexU.
I'm not shilling, but easier.robotics
You're
on
shilling.
Instagram.
Everyone follow at 5090x.
Guys,
Robotics on
everyone,
Instagram.
please. Guys, everyone, if you want to get your robot anodized, please use Hillic anodizing. Use code.
Use
Cavalry.
code
Use
Hillic.
code Cavalry.
Code 2616. It works.
Code Cavalry.
Use code Cavalry.
Alright, okay.
Hillock is
Cap,
really nice though.
Yeah, well,
Cap, you
Grant
cut off
Box,
whenever-
if you
Thank
want to
you,
be on the
thank
next cast, you're totally welcome.
Thank you
Yes,
everyone
100%.
for coming on the
Push
stream.
me, I'll show you
You
that
and your
Discord isn't
spiky
scary.
hair.
Thank you
I'll show
to our guests for appearing on here. Thank you to our host Sele
Hey.
for hosting it good. No thanks to
Aren't you the
myself
host?
because I'm bad. at
Thank
running
you,
the
Zach
stream.
99U for
Yeah,
Thank
appearing.
you,
again,
Zach,
thank you.
99.
Yeah, Zach for the appearance. It was
We
pretty
hope
cool.
that anyone who's still watching now, I know this was a long one, but you know, Corona's still happening. You're
2
both
hours,
home.
wow.
Yeah, 2 hours.
I don't have anything better to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
37 viewers.
Oh, I hope that you
Don't
guys
have anything
follow
else to
and
do,
tune in-
yeah.
Tune into the next
I,
one. I
Zach,
don't know when.
99.
Oh, and before we go, I'd like to make a video talking about the automation and macros on my Turning Point Worlds robot.
That's it. Cut it.
That's
Wait,
it.
wait,
Oh, that's it?
Next
Alright.
one,
Cut the
China
stream.
review?
No more. Cut
Next
the
stream,
stream.
China review? Cut the
Yeah,
stream.
next. Cut the
Cut the
stream.
stream. Cut the stream.
Cut the stream.
No more.
Stream.